Hi everyone, welcome back to our Hollywood. I'm Daniel.
I'm Kim.
And today we have a really
Sorry, it's because I had toilet issues before this. We were talking about it. I didn't know Daniel was recording.
There was some behind the scenes drama with Kim in the bathroom like 15 minutes ago. Anyways, we have a really fun episode today. We're talking about our childhood TV shows, the ones that got rebooted, the ones that tried, the ones that didn't. So that's
good,
fun.
the bad, and the ugly.
Thank you for that accent. But before we get into that, we're going to talk about what we watched this week. Actually, just kidding. First, we're going to plug the stuff. My brain is really frazzled right now, guys.
That's the coffee.
It is the coffee. Anytime you can tell when the coffee's kicking in.
Yeah.
Don't talk to me until I've had my coffee.
I'm going to get you that for Christmas.
Thank you so much. I hope it's Ray Dunn, font.
Oh, 100%.
Okay. Follow us on our Instagram. Our Instagram is @our.hollywood. Follow us on our TikTok. Okay, honestly, if you go on our Instagram and you press the little link tree, everything's there.
Yeah.
So
press our link tree.
Yeah, press our link tree. Yeah. Check out the things we have. But I think our Instagram is like the hub.
Yes.
The Our Hollywood hub. But yeah, okay, so I'm trying to do it quickly, guys, because we recorded for so long. So what did you watch?
We always think it's gonna take a lot less time, and then we don't shut up. Never.
No, we don't.
So, I listened to podcasts. That's been my thing lately.
Okay.
I've just been listening to a lot of podcasts because I feel like I've been driving a lot recently. Okay. And that's what I like to do so I don't disassociate. Because disassociating when you drive is terrifying.
Especially when you're like, did I just run a red light?
Yeah.
Or where am I?
Yeah. Or you start spiraling. Yeah. Don't love doing that.
No.
So if you also struggle with that, get into a podcast. Get into Our Hollywood. You're listening to this. Yeah. Listen to it on a car ride. Yeah. Listen to Bessie's on a car ride. Listen to Miscommunicated on a car ride. Just because I feel like
all
when you're just back to back triple feature. Yeah. Honestly, it's a good time. You start with the meat and then you get to decompress.
Yeah.
Yeah. For an hour and a half after.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, definitely do that. Maybe I'll do that next drive I have.
Well, I mean, it'd have to be a really long drive. It'd have to be a 5-hour drive.
Well, on the way up and on the way back.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Works. So that'd be good. Listen to Our Hollywood on the way up. Do your thing. Decompress. So that being said, I know Tana Mongeau is a very controversial person, but she is also one of the most fascinating people.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I would say it.
Exactly. That's exactly what words out of my mouth.
I think I said this on Bessie's too. I hate to admit it, but Tana's fun to listen to.
And she's just she doesn't say anything super out of pocket as of late.
She's funny though.
She definitely feeds into it. She's admitted it. She feeds into the drama and
her
stuff.
Podcast
she's not
she's
not like Trisha Paytas or Gabby Hanna, where it's we should really deplatform these people because they need to take their mental health seriously.
Yeah.
I feel like Tana's a more digestible version of those two.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
Because I think her the drama she has doesn't come from an actual place of
it's about herself.
It's literally just her wanting attention so often.
That's what literally they said on the first episode of her podcast. She was that's what Trisha said to her, because Trisha was her first guest. Oh, second episode. Yeah. Trisha was her first guest, and Trisha was well, how do your dramas about yourself?
Yeah.
So, and it's literally just about you usually. So I think that's why more people like I don't love Tana because I think what she stands for and how young her audience is very harmful. But because I'm older and I can separate that I understand she's not a great person and I don't look up to her as a role model. That's why I think it's okay for me to listen to it.
It feels when I watch the podcast, I feel I'm opening a door and I'm oh, look how these people live, and then closing it and going about my day. I don't want to stay there.
I just get the tea and I can move on.
But okay, I said this on Bessie's, but don't you feel sometimes they side with so many okay, did you watch the Bryce Hall episode?
That's what I was gonna say.
Okay, so she
made me like him a little bit.
Oh, not me.
Not it made me hate him a lot less. Okay. I don't like him.
Yeah.
But I think I had such for some reason I just hated him. But with how chill he was on her podcast, I was oh, okay.
I still not a huge fan of him, but I definitely was
oh yeah, I'm not a fan.
I hate Austin McGrim more. I don't know how to say his
name. Because he's involving his children.
He's gross.
So that's Bryce is just he's making himself to be look out a dumbass. So at the end of the day, it's just his fault. So that's why I'm me hating him is not doing anything.
It's not.
I also don't do anything with the hate. I'm just like silently hating.
I think with like how like watching that podcast, it feels like at school when they would put you in groups, and it's that one time that you get sat down with popular kids and you're like, I definitely shouldn't be here, but they just tell you everything. But that's literally what it feels like. Like I was watching them and they're like talking about all these parties and like being blackout and like all this stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, it can never be me.
Because I don't want to be there, but I love knowing the gossip.
Exactly. That's what it is. And I like when they like name drop. Love that.
Yeah, because they have no shame.
It's fun to listen to.
It's so fun to listen to. And I know they're not role models.
Exactly.
I'm not gonna, but like, I don't like that their audience is so young and impressionable.
I don't like that either.
I don't love that.
Especially because she like had Trisha on, and like us as people who like we've seen Trisha from the beginning. Every scandal we've seen like the deeper aspects of it. Yeah, exactly. So like I feel like we understand why she has Trisha on the podcast, whereas younger people like on TikTok and stuff, they're still like,
oh, she supports her, and
and we're like, guys,
and she's not gonna be mean to her face. Like Tana's very much a person that like if you're sitting right in front of her, she's your best friend.
Yeah.
But you never know what she's saying like behind the scenes.
Yeah. I don't know.
I
agree though. I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah.
I like her podcast a lot. I think it's super interesting and I've always thought she's super fascinating. But I think, because I'm older and like she's literally the same age as me. Yeah, she's literally the same age as me. I'm like, it's just like like what you said, like the popular kids at the table. I just get to know the gossip and I get to move along with just knowing a little bit more about the inside of it, because that side of influencer culture is so interesting. That's what I was thinking about when I was listening to it. I was like, there's like those type of influencers that are just like they honestly give influencers a bad rap. And then there's like the good wholesome ones. Like I listened to Canceled, and then I listened to Alicia Marie and Remy Ashton right after, and it's like the two very opposites of YouTube.
I always think about this, like if we like ended up being like those level of influencers, like where would we end up? And I was thinking, I hope it's not in the Tana TikTok. Like
no, I don't think
those
personally. I don't think I would end up there. I'm trying to think of like where
I feel like
I would be between. I feel like I would be.
Can I tell you where I think you would end up?
Yes, please.
I feel like you would go like in the. I don't know how to explain. Like in the Brittany Broski, like Sarah, like
that's
Twitter
where I was
comedy.
gonna place myself too, but I wouldn't use Twitter. Like Emmy Hartman, Brittany Broski, like Enya, Drew. That
even I feel like,
but
I feel like Emmy Hartman is like still too young, because I feel like a lot of their comedies, like pee and poop. But like, we're like,
they're so funny.
No,
though.
I was listening to their podcast. I was like, these people are 12-year-olds, but like it's still funny.
They're not doing it anymore. I think it didn't get a lot of listens. So I think
was so cool.
It was on like she said on TikTok like they're not filming more episodes for the foreseeable future. So it
is a lot of work to do a podcast.
Yeah.
And like especially when like you're not getting paid. I think
also like weird timing, because they dropped theirs and then Enya and Drew dropped theirs like almost at like the exact same time.
But Enya and Drew's isn't sponsored, right? Like it's like
no, it's just them. They're just fucking around.
Yeah.
So there's no money involved. So but like Enya and Drew are like the blueprint. So that's why I feel like.
You know what's so funny? When I went to the Heaven by Marc Jacobs, by the way.
I forgot you met
them. idea who these people were. Like truly, if you had shown them to me, wouldn't have known. So we're standing in the line, and my friend Marlies and like Karina, they're like talking to each other. They're like, "Oh my God, that's like blah blah blah," Enya and Drew. And I was like, "Those are the employees, guys. Like, I don't think that's right." And she was like, "No, they're like YouTube." And then whatever, they explained them to me, and then we went inside, and they were
minors.
Yeah, I guess, but like they were really nice. Well, and I didn't talk that much to the other guy. He was kind of like not doing anything, to be completely honest. But like,
I feel like that's pretty accurate.
They were like working.
Yeah,
did they?
That's what Heaven does. Yeah, they just like get people that have like mild internet personalities for the most part to work in their store a little bit.
I liked it.
They have like randomly 100K on Instagram. That's like the criteria to get hired at. I'm making a joke. I don't think it's actually, but.
Not that I'm making a joke.
I didn't want people to get offended because I genuinely enjoy all of the people. Yeah, because they're cool. They're just like cool girl, boy, non-binary. Fashion. Yeah,
fashion. I really like that store, honestly. What is going on? Hello?
Was it connected to your?
No, they're off.
They're
fully in the box. Anyways, yeah. Why did we bring that up? Oh, YouTuber podcasts. Mm-hmm. Anyway, yeah. So
that's the only podcast I listen to. YouTuber podcasts or celebrity. I think YouTuber ones are make more sense to me because I already watch vlogs and stuff. So it's just I don't have to watch a video.
That's true. You just have to listen.
Mm-hmm.
I do. Okay, there are a couple. Well, before I get on to mine, I like Grace Hart and Mamrie. Oh wait, no, Grace Helbig and Mamrie Hart's podcast
Wait,
it gives me like
backtrack to
nostalgia.
Hannah really quick before we get too far off. Did you listen to the first episode?
I listened to all of them. Yeah, unfortunately.
Do you remember I think it was the first episode where she said that her friend is dating Olivia Rodrigo?
I literally talked about this on Besties. And when she was
what episode?
I don't know, like last one or two.
I don't think I listened to that.
Yeah, like a recent one. And she goes like, "Oh, I love him so much." She's like defending him.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "No, guys, that's not the move." Oh no, it was the last episode that I talked about it.
Okay, yeah, I didn't get to listen to that one yet.
What were you gonna say? What were your thoughts?
I just thought that was interesting, like, because it really is such a small world. It's just so interesting. Also, I was listening to Pretty Basic today, and them talking about like influencer parties and like the prime time of Playlist Live. Remember, like we would always see the vlogs, and they would be in that hotel room and like partying and stuff. Yeah. And like I am very upset I didn't get to experience. I mean, I don't even know if I'm going to experience any sort of con. But like
maybe at some point, like because they're like they canceled this year's VidCon.
I know, but it's not the same. Like I won't party with O2L and Gen X Pen.
Anyways, what I watched this week, the American Horror Story season finale came out. First of all, interesting experiment doing like episodes that are like standalone. It's like a Twilight Zone with an American Horror Story. However, it doesn't make any sense what they did because the way it was approached, and what I thought and what everyone else thought was that it was going to be stories that take place in the American Horror Story universe, but like standalone, like. Oh, this character was in one episode of Murder House. Let's give him
That's
one episode.
Not how it was.
No, it's like completely
random characters?
Stories, random characters that have like little to nothing to do with American Horror Story. They're just like the cast. Like every episode has like one or two from like the Ryan Murphy verse. Like there's this one episode where Billy Lord from like American Horror Story and like the guy from 911, they're married and there's like a demon baby and something like that. And so there's only 7 episodes, but out of 7, 3 of them have to do with one storyline that takes place in the murder house, which is like, I guess it's what they were trying to do to like bring viewers in.
How many seasons of American Horror Story are there?
The 10th one is coming up.
So why didn't they just do like an episode per season?
I truly don't know.
That just makes more sense to me.
Because
as somebody who doesn't even know like pretty much anything.
No, but like everyone was confused about like what they were doing with it.
Yeah.
And like
it wasn't marketed at all. It was just like
the way they marketed it was like they didn't really drop. I don't know what they're doing because like the trailer for American Horror Story starts in 3 days. They dropped the trailer last week. Like they have, I don't know what is going on with them, and they're still filming it. Like I feel like all the Ryan Murphy productions are very last minute because like okay, so what happened was the first 2 episodes of American Horror Stories.
That's what it was. They were like filming it while I was because it made sense for the songs.
Yeah,
so the songs are relevant.
Yeah. The first 2 episodes of American Horror Stories take place in the murder house, and it's like Sierra McCormick is like moves into the house with like her 2 dads, and like basically she starts having like a fetish for like pain, and like she becomes like the rubber woman.
She in high school or is she an adult?
She's in high school. Typical American Horror Story, but that's not what shocked me though. And then and so that was like the first episode. Then second episode is like they're still in the house, but all of a sudden Kaya Gerber is there. And if you don't know who that is the daughter of
Cindy Crawford.
Cindy Crawford. So, and like everyone knows that Ryan Murphy is a
nepotism
lover. And so she's on the episode and she plays like essentially like a girl version of Tate from the first season. Like she loves killing and she's a ghost trapped in the murder house. I don't remember how she ended up there. But then they fall in love. And essentially, it was like a reboot of that weird twisted love story.
Yeah, like, so it's basically Tate and Violet just like
twisted,
woman on woman.
And like and like they flipped that a little bit. I don't know. It was weird. And so then the 2 episodes ended, and it was like none of the past ghosts from the murder house are there. It was just like so weird. They ended up killing Paris. What's her name? Paris Jackson was in it too. She's like one of the ghosts.
Oh, what?
It was so random, the entire thing. So then everyone was like really confused and was like, we thought we saw pictures of Tate and Violet on set. Like they literally got leaked pictures of Tate and Violet on set. Like, it was so weird. And then it was announced like halfway through the season that the last episode was also going to take place in the murder house, which by the way, the first 2 episodes had already come out. Like people had already talked about what they thought about it. So then the last episode comes out like last week and it starts with like Noah Cyrus and her boyfriend. It's not Noah Cyrus, like the character, but she's playing it. Which, by the way, she can act. I didn't.
Oh, really?
I didn't. Good. Yeah, I honestly didn't expect much, but it was pleasantly surprised. She did great. And so It's like the murder house is an Airbnb.
Well, she did voice in Ponyo.
That's true. She didn't do that. So the murder house is an Airbnb. So then, like, that's how the episode starts. So they're like going through the house, and then they start seeing the ghost, and then the guy's like, "Oh, you're not in the show," and I was like, "What's going on?" And then like they keep running through the house, and like some of the ghosts from the first season show up, but also some of the ghosts from like the first 2 episodes of American Horror Stories, like these new ghosts. And then we see the clown from like season 4, and then like another thing from season 2, and you're like, what is going on? And they're referencing American Horror Story, the show.
So it's like meta.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden the twist from that like beginning, like the opening, the cold open, was that it was a video game. And so then the video game ends, and then it like cuts out, and it's like a kid playing the game and his mom. So the premise of this episode is that this kid is like, his mom is developing an American Horror Story video game. And she was having him test it out. And he's like, did you even watch the show? Like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, this clown wouldn't be here. Yeah.
That's kind of funny.
That's what I thought at first. But then the mom is like, so the kid and the mom are like not on good terms. And so then the mom goes to the murder house and she wants to buy it so that she can feel the vibe. That's what the kid was saying. He's like, you didn't get the vibe of the murder house. No, she watches all 10 seasons, and they show her watching it, which was also weird. But then she like wants to buy the house because she's like, I want to catch the vibe. She gets to the house, the ghosts are there. Which like, how, like if the show is real, how are the ghosts there? And they don't explain it. Like they name drop Sarah Paulson, but then like Dylan McDermott is in the house as the character from Murder House. And so
that doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make, I was literally so confused.
It could have been so good.
Yeah, and so then she's in the house and whatever, she ends up, Kaya Gerber kills her in the house. By the way, I'm spoiling it, but I don't think anyone cares truly. So then like, what happened, they like keep like time jumping all over the place, but essentially what the kid wants to do is he wants to burn down the house. He's like, I've had enough of the murder house, I'm gonna burn it down and like free all the souls that are trapped inside. And the mom's like, because like on Halloween, ghosts can go wherever they want. That's like part of the American Horror Story universe. Like in every season, like on Halloween, ghosts can go wherever they want. They're not trapped in wherever they are. So the mom goes to visit him. He's like super mad at her for no reason. He's like, you got yourself killed, blah, blah. He's like pissed at her. So he's like, I want to burn down the house. And like, she's like, but if you do that, like, you're never going to see me again. And he's like, well, oh, well. And so he ends up going to the house. And then Sierra McCormick comes back because it's like the one day she can see her ghost girlfriend. And so the mom sees the kid like start dropping like lighter fluid all over the house. And then he's like going to light the thing. And there's this really cool scene, which was like Kaya Gerber running to like kill the kid, but then all the ghosts like stopping her. The thing is, it was only the new ghosts. So I was like, imagine if this scene was like Tate. Like, and it was like all the ghosts.
That would be way more symbolic.
Yeah, and then like the ghost at the end, so like the one that lets him stop it is like a ghost. I think it was Dylan McDermott, I don't remember. But like imagine if that one was Violet, like letting him burn down the house. I was like, imagine the impact of that scene. Instead, we get all these random new characters we don't care about. Whatever, the house burns down, and then like it's like rubble, and everyone on the news are like, the murder house burned down. And then they build like a complex, like apartment complex there. And Sierra McCormick shows up and she's like, I want this is this the last one? And they're like, yeah. So she buys it. And then for some reason, Kaya Gerber's ghost is still there. And they like in love forever. And like all the other ghosts, she's like, they all moved on, but I'm still here waiting for you. And I was like, oh my God. And then it says like, game over, you won. And it like cuts out again. And it was like, that was the finished game. And the mom was like, did I get it right? And the kid was like, that was so good. I loved it. And the mom was like, oh, I'm glad. And then
not them trying to make a Black Mirror episode.
No. That's what everyone was saying. But like, so, and then people were like, but what kind of game is that? Like, so it was like, essentially you're playing the first 2 episodes and the third one. So like halfway through the game, like some mom and her kid would show up. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. So everyone was saying on Twitter was like, they think Ryan Murphy wrote this to undo these new characters in the murder house. Because they were received so badly that he was like, okay, just kidding. And so
yeah, because they were filming while it was airing in the murder house. I remember seeing that on TikTok.
And this one was written by Ryan Murphy. Like all the other ones, like I think the first one was, but all the other ones weren't. And this one was Ryan Murphy produced. And Brad Falchuk.
I wonder who got
Kings of Glee.
I wonder who got fired.
I just
okay.
don't know what's going on. I really wish they had done what everyone thought they were going to do.
What was the episode with Charles Milton? The Santa
it was
one?
like
they name dropped Tana Mojo.
I liked that
Full
episode.
circle.
Everyone hated it, but I really liked it because I think it was the only one that like didn't try to take itself seriously.
Yeah.
It was essentially
100%. But then people took the clips out of context and put on Twitter or TikTok or something, and people were like, "What the fuck is this?" And I'm like, guys, it's supposed to.
That was the best one.
Not it going over everybody's head.
It was that one was full satire, where the other ones weren't. But like that one was full, like it was essentially.
Were they different writers than the other one?
Yeah.
So probably.
So that one was like these YouTubers are like they're not becoming famous anymore, so they have to do something drastic. So they film a dead body. It's very much at Jake Paul.
I was about to say
fully. They don't even try to be shy about it. It's like they're at the suicide bridge and someone jumps off and they film it and they upload it and they expect that it's gonna blow up and everyone's like, no, that's horrible. So they keep doing more and more like drastic things to like try to get views. And one of the things they do is they go to the mall and tell all the kids online to meet Santa that Santa isn't real. And so a Santa that is Danny Trejo, he kills them all. And then like the last thing is like Kevin McHale, he's like one of the last remaining ones, and like he sees that they just hit 5 million because like the Santa was uploading them dying on the YouTube channel. So they hit 5 million and he's like, oh my god, we finally hit 5 million, and then he gets murdered. It's like satire. Like, satire.
That is pretty funny.
Yeah,
I might watch that one.
It was my favorite one.
I do love Kevin McHale.
Yeah, we love King of Glee.
I'm glad he finally got his moment.
Yeah, Ryan Murphy didn't put him in anything else. Like it was like all the other ones, like Lea Michele, everyone else got a couple other ones, and Kevin McHale didn't. Unless maybe he didn't want to, because he came back.
Yeah.
Anyways, guys, we're about to get into the episode. I have nothing else to say. So, ad break.
Hi, welcome back from our ad break. It's finally in the correct spot.
Yeah.
If you had it's really satisfying, to be honest.
Okay.
Like, I don't know.
If you had told me, I would have never noticed, because I just like listen and I'm like, oh, that's where it goes. But I had to match up the time.
Yeah, because Daniel edits them.
Yeah.
And then I just listen for like quality control.
Also, the fact that the past like 4 episodes, we started back from the ad break talking about the ad break being in the spot.
Yeah.
Anyways, we fixed it, guys.
Well, now you won't hear that anymore because we figured it out.
So we're back with our guest now. Hello, Linda. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. Thank you for asking. I'm very honored to be on here and have a conversation with you guys.
How official.
I know.
So before we get started, just so people can get to know you a little bit, what interests you about film and TV, and what made you want to go into this? Because we did, like, I was telling Kim, I was like, the next, like, 5 guests are all from the same screenwriting class. All the upcoming guests are from that same class. So if you just want to talk a little bit about, like, why you want to do that specifically.
Well, I was raised in a household that we would always be watching all these different types of films because of my dad. And then TV, it was always there. My dad works for a cable company, so it's like, why wouldn't that be in front of me? And then I did want to become a screenwriter just to learn the craft of where it starts, like the idea, and then from there, hopefully be able to become a director of my own script.
Mm-hmm. Is there like, because I know I read like some of your like scripts like in some of the classes, but is there like a specific genre that you want to write for, or are you just anything?
I think for me, I would like to write for, I guess, a genre of like inspirational films.
Okay.
To inspire
something
better, to overcome.
Fun, yeah, but especially right now, that's what everyone needs, because no one is okay right now.
I love those type of stories.
Yeah.
Like the ones that could kind of make you want to cry.
Yeah. Well, with us, it will end up with us crying, but, and then what made you choose this topic? So for everyone who's listening, I don't know if we said in the pre-show, but today's episode is about childhood show revivals. So the ones that came back, the ones that are coming back, and the ones that tried, but it did not go well. So what made you specifically choose this topic?
Because I grew up in these childhood shows, and I'm watching some right now that we'll probably get into. But I just like these shows, and it's so cool that some of them have been brought back.
Yeah, I think it's also really interesting to see how different each of these reboots are. Like how they took completely different approaches to each of these. Like it's so interesting. And I do think some like shows like could have done what other shows did. I don't know, we'll get into it.
Yeah.
But all right, so the way we split up today's episode is like 3 different sections. We're doing the airing reboots. So these are ones that like already came out and like actually are on TV. You can watch them or are airing right now. And then we have canceled reboots. These are the ones that like tried to come back and it did not go through for whatever reason, or it was like a scam. And the upcoming reboots. So these are the ones that are like they've been announced and they're working on them and they'll be out soon. But before we get into that, I just want to ask you guys what you guys think makes childhood reboots so popular, because I really like nostalgia and like the built-in fan base. Like I feel that seems like the biggest 2 reasons to even do reboots. But like when we'll get into it once we get to some of the shows, but I feel like some of the reboots like ignore their fan base, their original fan base, which like defeats the whole purpose of a reboot.
That's interesting that you say that, because I think when you talk about like how they market it to audiences, I want to talk about it more like when we go into each one.
Yeah.
Because my marketing brain is just so powerful right now, because I'm so jazzed for some reason. And I think for me, I was literally talking about it a couple weeks ago. I think it's just so easy for what's it called? Studios to like buy into it, because there is a built-in fan base. So like they already know that they're gonna get their money back. Mm-hmm. So I think that's why it's like they already own the property, or they can like I don't know how lease it out, or like people can like buy into the property and then like what is it called? I don't know the technical term, but you know what I mean.
I understand what you're saying.
Like how like well, because it's a conglomerate also. So like Paramount owns Nickelodeon, so that's why they're able to do iCarly, that kind of thing. And it's honestly just for money at the end of the day. Yeah. Because I feel like especially for Gen Z and millennials, which are the people that watch these shows that are coming back, I mean, they're built into nostalgia. Remember like a couple like years ago when everybody was obsessed with Nickelodeon again, and like for some reason everybody was obsessed with like 80s and 90s things, like super hardcore, like you couldn't go to Target without seeing those freaking shirts like come back. So I think that's why they did it, because I feel like that was a thing. And then a couple years later, the Fuller House came out, and like all these shows started coming out, because it takes a couple years to develop things. So when
because I don't like, not to give Stranger Things this much credit, but
it's true.
When did Stranger Things come out? Let's see the date.
We can give Stranger Things the credit because it's
2016.
Kind of, yeah.
I mean, yeah, I feel like it did start like the 80s nostalgia like wave, because then after that everything was set in the 80s, like everything from like horror movies.
But now they ruined it.
Yeah, now I think it's a bit too much. But I think that now they're like, okay, now we're just doing any, like there's like stuff in the 90s, there's stuff in the like there's stuff in any era now. But they're really doing a lot of period pieces. But so should we get started with the first airing reboot?
Well, what do you think that there's a lot of? Yeah. You didn't even do the BuzzFeed quiz. Are you good?
I completely skipped over it.
Why do you think there's like so many childhood show reboots?
Well, I personally think it's a big part of it is also they're trying to make money. And on top of that, I think some fans, like they ask for it. Like personally for me, iCarly's my go-to, so I'm watching that right now. And it's very interesting how they made the show to like adjust to now our whole era and present time. So it was really cool. Fuller House wasn't like that. It still had the same like how do you say it? Like
it was like for exactly the same kind of humor, the same kind of
It's probably
it was just the older characters. Maybe. Okay, so back to the BuzzFeed quiz. I don't know how I just completely didn't even look over it. My eyes were glazing over. So this one's like kind of on topic, kind of not. But I think it is. It's enough on topic. Yeah. So the BuzzFeed quiz is, which iconic Disney Channel show do you belong in? So I think these are like the earlier ones. I hope. I didn't even look at the answers because I didn't want to know.
Yeah.
But all right. So the first one is, what's your favorite color? Well, that's very basic. Okay, pink, blue, green, yellow, red, or purple. I want to say purple.
That's my favorite color too.
Purple.
It's okay. Wait, is everyone picking purple?
I'm gonna do green.
Oh, okay. Okay, what's your favorite show? Friends, Pretty Little Liars, Game of Thrones, Stranger Things, The Good Place, Rick and Morty. Oh my god.
I'm gonna say Pretty Little Liars because that's like the only one I've watched out of all of these.
Really?
Yeah.
Have you not seen Friends? I feel like you were Friends.
No, I hated Friends.
Oh.
I don't like
I've never
Friends.
watched it too, so.
I tried.
Boring. I think we'll get into it when we get to Full House.
Okay. I'm gonna do The Good Place.
I was gonna do that one too, so I'll pick Rick and Morty.
Okay. Pick a dessert. Acai bowl, cheesecake, chocolate, cupcake, ice cream. No dessert for me, thanks. Oh my god, this made me hungry. These pictures look so good. Linda, which one are you thinking?
I'm gonna choose a cupcake.
That cupcake looks...
It's very pretty.
I don't like when they have like too much frosting because then it's like
Yeah.
overwhelming and then you can't bite into it and it's like not even amount of frosting and cake. I'm gonna just do chocolate.
Okay, I'm gonna do ice cream.
Okay, fine.
These questions suck.
They really do. I should have looked at them a little bit more. I was trying not to like think about them before I like answered them. Okay, favorite brand: Adidas, Gucci, Brandy Melville, Nike, Louis Vuitton, or Supreme. Truly, I don't think I'm okay. Someone else answer first, Kim.
I think I'll do Adidas.
Okay. I'm gonna do Gucci just because I feel like I can stomach it.
Okay.
Because like not Supreme, not Brandy Melville. Oh, okay. What's your favorite streaming service? Disney Plus, Hulu, Netflix.
Our favorite question.
Oh, Disney Plus, Hulu, Netflix, Amazon Prime, Xfinity. Oh, Xfinity? I don't even know what that is. HBO Go, but let's just say it says HBO Max.
Yeah. So HBO Max.
HBO Max.
Oh, fun.
Linda, what was your last one?
I'll choose Hulu.
Okay.
I like mine.
Okay, Kim, go first.
Wizards of Waverly Place.
Okay.
But that already had like its reboots. I think they did like the reboot correctly. Like they did the movies.
Yeah.
They did a second movie.
They did a reboot.
Italy. Yeah, it was like not that long after. It was like maybe 2 years after, but it was like
they looked a lot older for some reason.
it was like what was it? They went to Italy or
I don't
Alex
remember.
versus Alex was the name of it. She had like an evil twin.
Yeah.
From like a whole dimension or something.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. I got Phineas and Ferb.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got Hannah Montana, which makes sense.
We all got different ones. I thought we were going to get the same one.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't think this BuzzFeed quiz is equipped to give us different answers. Okay.
There's not much to say because the questions were kind of like...
Yeah, and they didn't even give us an explanation. They just said, this is the show.
Oh, yeah. They usually have like a little thing.
Yeah. But no, there was nothing there. Okay. Anyways, thank you for that BuzzFeed quiz. I should not be allowed to pick the BuzzFeed quizzes. I didn't really look that closely at that one. Okay. Now we're going to start with the airing reboot. So the first one is Fuller House. It came out in 2016. Wait, 5 seasons?
Yeah. I didn't even know.
In 4 years?
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. They said no
That's
breaks.
what Wikipedia says.
Okay, Fuller House came out in 2016 and ended in 2020. It had 5 seasons.
Do you want me to do the premises?
Yeah.
Okay. So the premise of the Fuller House is like the setup. So like the original series, the show is set in the same house in San Francisco, California, still owned by Danny Tanner. Recently widowed DJ Tanner Fuller is a veterinarian and mother of 3 young boys. After the unexpected death of her husband, Tommy, who was a firefighter, DJ moves back to her childhood home with her father, Danny. However, when Danny has to move away for work, he allows her to continue living there, and DJ accepts the help of her sister, Stephanie, and best friend, Kimmy, who move in and take part in raising DJ's 3 sons, Jackson, Max, Tommy Jr. Kimmy's teenage daughter, Ramona, also moves in.
I didn't realize the premise.
It's like the same thing. Also, it's like the same as Raven's home, except Raven just got divorced. That's what I thought, but then I didn't read this. I just copied and pasted when I put it on there because I just have absolutely zero interest in Full House.
I have a question. The Fuller is their last name?
Yeah.
But so in the original Full House, was it also Fuller?
No.
It was Full?
Oh, actually.
Yeah. It was just no. Her
Tanner, wasn't it?
Her husband's last name was Fuller.
So
I think that was just like it was Tanner originally, and then Fuller was the husband's last name.
And it's like Fuller because it's bigger.
Yeah, and also it's like a homage to like, because she's also like dealing with the death of her husband. So like,
really?
Yeah.
I thought it was a sitcom.
I didn't watch a lot of it because I absolutely can't stand it.
Yeah.
Like I don't like it at all. But like so I don't know how deep they got into the grieving process because it is supposed to be like a lighthearted sitcom. Yeah. But I know she had like, and I feel like in the first season it was like hard for her to like move on with her life. Honestly.
Well, it's like it's weird because I watched most of the seasons except the 5th one, and it is like you saying that like the first few episodes like she's dealing with that, but it's like in this
gloss over it really fast, right?
Yeah, they go straight into like her ex-boyfriend, her freaking veterinarian, and she's choosing between the both. Like it's so weird, and then she goes back and forth between them. Which is so weird, especially with your husband. You have 3 whole ass kids with him, and he died.
13-year-olds, like that's like 13 years.
So like you had a chunk of like time with your husband. Like you went through it, and then you're just gonna move back, and halfway through the season you're just gonna move on. Like it seemed pretty easy too. Like I would think like if you had that much invested in your former partner and they just died unexpectedly, like it would be a little bit hard to like get over it, you know, or at least like it'd be like a hump to get over when like she's with these guys because they could potentially be stepfather. Like it's a big thing. Yeah. And I think that's why I was like, I can't with these white people issues. Like what? Like the way that they like, I also just, like, you know how like when we were younger it would come on like Nick and Night and like or like early morning when you're getting ready. I couldn't even watch it. I just didn't like it at all because I just couldn't get into the characters.
I think that I tried watching the original one.
It was such stupid like issues.
Yeah, like
the issues were dumb as hell.
That's why I don't like Friends either.
That's exactly
because like their problems are like so minor that I'm just like, my life is more exciting than this. Like
my 7-year-old life is so much more exciting than watching Friends and stuff. Yeah, I don't like Friends either for the same reason.
It's just
like sorry, I know like there's so many Friends and Full House fanatics.
I don't think there's anything wrong with liking Friends. I mean, if it was a bad show, like there wouldn't be that.
But also when you think about it, a lot of their audience and a lot of diehard people are like white people. Mm-hmm. So obviously you're gonna identify with the people that.
Good for them, I guess.
Yeah, good for you that you had a show like that. But they also Friends stole things from a people of color show exactly like that. So I don't know.
Anyway, okay, you know what we should do? I was thinking of this right when you were talking. After each reboot, we should each say if we think it was a hit or miss.
Okay.
So like with it overall, and you can't say like you either hit or miss.
But since you watched most of it, did you like enjoy like what they did with the storyline?
I think I just enjoyed the parts of the comedy because the storyline was a little bit like it made sense, but then it was just I feel like there was a lot like too much going on. Mm-hmm. And that's why I zoned out after probably the 3rd or 4th season, and I just got over it because it was the same thing every episode.
Well, because I'm thinking about when Full House was like originally a thing, it was like a different time for television. You know, like everything was kind of surface level. It was very much like, okay, we're all going to sit on the couch and watch it together. So it had to be family friendly. And I feel like we're just in a different era now, like people especially being on Netflix. Yeah, everybody's looking for like deeper source material. Yeah. And I think that's probably why you weren't probably like as interested in like the storylines and the characters because they didn't change that, which I think was good because I think they were like more aiming towards the older people, the older side of their audience. To gain on the nostalgia factor because you have Bob Saget, you have John Stamos, and the other guy, and I feel like because that's what the adults grab onto. Even though like in this one it's more on the kids like being adults, like whole ass adults raising kids, like they still wanted to get on the parenting aspect of it. Yeah, but for like as when we watched it, we were like more enthralled by what the kids were doing. Yeah, like, I don't really remember caring about what the adults were doing.
No, and I think also like if they had wanted younger people to watch it, they would have tried a little harder to get Mary-Kate and Ashley to get on because like I don't.
They absolutely would not have ever in a million years. Also, I couldn't imagine what they went through on that set.
Oh yeah.
So
that's really scary. But yeah, I just don't. It definitely was not for us. I think
no.
at all in the slightest. But that's okay. I mean, like, good for the people who enjoyed it. They got 5 seasons. I feel like that's more than they expected.
think
They
that was-
cashed in.
Yeah,
they cashed
did.
in.
So
They made their
weird, though.
bank.
The weirdest part of the whole show though was the fact that what's her name, Kimmy, had a brother the whole time.
Oh.
Yeah,
I thought like her whole thing was that she was the only child.
yeah, but then like somehow he appeared, like, and he gets like married to Stephanie, and they have a kid. Yeah, it's so weird. Like, I'm like, that does not, like, no.
Yeah. Well, as for if it was a hit or miss, I think it was a hit.
Yeah.
It was just a miss for me.
Okay.
Because I don't care.
Yeah, I'm also gonna say hit because I think they went the right way. They were successful with it, and they got 5 more seasons.
And I think because it was so successful, it kind of like was the wave for like other networks to cash in on.
Yeah.
Linda, what do you think? Hit or miss?
No, it was a hit, but parts of it were a miss.
Was Lori Loughlin? Was that her name? Was she in this one?
Yeah, she was.
She was. And was this before? When did the scandal happen?
It happened in the middle of it, so they like wrote her off on the last couple of seasons, I think, or something. I think because I didn't know that. But also was Bob Saget in it a lot?
Yeah, he was.
Well, he has a lot of allegations against him too. Yeah, dude. Yeah. Well, also think about like his current girlfriend or wife is like in her 20s, I think. So
so weird.
I'm not gonna say too much on that.
Yeah, no. Okay. Anyways, Raven's home.
Still trying to get a job.
Yeah. Raven's home.
Allegedly.
Raven's Home, the original show Raven, That's So Raven came out on Disney Channel, and Raven's Home also came out on Disney Channel years later. Ran from 2017 to 2020. It got canceled?
I think it just naturally ended.
Oh, okay.
Because Disney only likes to do like a 4-season run.
And in 2021, so they got 4 seasons. And if you want to do the premise of this, I actually like this premise a lot.
Yeah. So best friends Raven and Chelsea, both divorced single mothers, are now raising their children in an apartment in Chicago together. Their house is turned upside down when they realize that Raven's son Booker has inherited the same psychic abilities as his mother.
Fun. I like this. I do remember watching the premiere for this one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when it came out. Because I was like, I love That's So Raven. I'm very excited about this. But I feel like, I don't know, but I feel like maybe they thought that like, and maybe that is correct because it was successful, but like that the people who like grew up watching That's So Raven already have kids. So that it was like, oh, the original fans watch it with their kids.
Yeah, I think that's what they were trying
to
do.
That seems like, but I was like in the middle. Like I wasn't the kid, but I also wasn't the adult. So I was like, I can't really identify with anybody on the show. So I was like, there's nothing for me here. So that I was a little bit sad about that. But it was fun to see Raven and Chelsea
I wish they had like a team.
Yeah.
I wish because they have like the neighbor from across the hall in it. And I wish that one was like kind of like an older, like a teen, like maybe they were like going to be a freshman in high school or something. But I think that would have been like good for the middle person. Yeah, because I was like, I'm not really into the parenting. Yeah, because I liked it when I watched it, but I was like, I can't, who am I supposed to relate to on this right now? But it was fun, and I think I like that they made the son like the. I'm pointing at my eye, the psychic, because like I feel like it would have been so easy to just like make it the girl and have it be like, I don't know, like that's sort of all over again. They love to gender bend. They do love to gender bend. So I did like that. I also liked Chelsea's like kid. I think he's so funny. And then he gave me like what's his name from Big Bang Theory? What's his name? Oh, Sheldon. Sheldon vibes. Yeah. Gives me very much Sheldon. Definitely Sheldon vibes. And then I also liked that there was like some adult drama because I don't know. I know Disney Channel has like serious stuff sometimes, but it was just caught me off guard. Yeah. When they were talking about divorce, I was like, oh my god. I know. I was like, oh my god, heart to heart. Wait, the shift was like sometimes the shift and like the mood was like too quick. It was. Because they talk about something, and then the audience would go like, "Ooh," and I'd be like, "Wait, what?" Yeah, what is going on? I like how they had the classic stuff, but I also wish. I mean, this might just be like a selfish thing, but I wish that Raven had her own brand. Instead of her working for somebody else, I wish she had her own brand, and it was about her, like, maybe she had success in her younger years, but because she became a mother and then she also went through the divorce, it like went through like a downfall, and it was about her building it back up rather than her being, I mean, maybe in the later seasons they do, but in the first season she works for like a woman being paid or something.
Did you watch just the first season? Or?
Yeah, I just watched like the first half of the first season.
I feel
so, and maybe they do that later,
because that sounds like a natural progression of, because like that was a big part of That's So Raven, where it was like her talk, like her fashion, and like
that was why I loved it.
Yeah.
That's exactly why I loved it.
Yeah, so I feel like that would have made a good like natural relationship.
I also like how they did, like, I don't know, I think I just genuinely really loved Raven and Chelsea's relationship, and I really like how it still translates that even if even though it's like over a decade later, because you know, like sometimes when you get like old cast back together, like the chemistry isn't the same, because you know, like you never know what people are holding from like a decade ago, like if there was drama or something, and sometimes like people just grow apart and stuff, but I feel like it was just like the same charm.
It was, yeah. I felt like it did feel like you were watching.
Honestly, total side note, but I met Annalise Vanderpool in a 99-cent store.
Oh my gosh.
She was so nice.
Yeah, I've heard that she's
like
nice.
Other people, but
like
I was
she's super humble.
Picture, and she was so sweet. So
That's
sweet.
the most iconic thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
I love that it was a 99-cent store.
Her eyes sometimes scare me though.
Her what?
Her eyes, dude. Like when she acts, like sometimes like when she's acting crazy, because you know Chelsea gets a little wild, like she's a little out there. Like her eyes just get so big, and I'm just like every time I'm like, it's so jarring.
Yeah. But
if that's my only critique though, I think
that her eyes get jarring when she gets wild.
Yeah.
Well, I do. Okay.
It's for the physical comedy. They do physical comedy so well.
Yeah, they do.
They do it so
especially
well.
Raven. Like, but also like in the original one, I remember it was just so, because a lot of shows didn't have that as much. Like Disney, like I don't remember Wizards of Waverly Place being that much.
They would really rely on the laugh track.
They really would. Whereas That's So Raven, I feel like Raven was always throwing herself around.
Yeah, she still does.
Yeah.
I remember like when I was like falling asleep to it, and like I woke back up because she like, it was probably like the second or third episode, but she was like, she went to the school to do something to like interfere with her kids, because she had like a thing, vision that her kids were getting suspended, but it ended up being her because she was there during school hours and she like hurt the gym teacher or something, and she had to like play tennis, and it was so funny. I don't know why. I like it was just funny.
She's good.
She's just good at throwing her body about. And then like she started hitting the tennis balls with her butt, and I don't know why. I just thought it was so funny. Because she's good.
She's like, really good, yeah.
She's really good.
And yeah, it was fun to see her again as this character.
Yeah.
Especially
because I feel like Raven Simone needed the show, because I feel like in between them she had like a little bit of a scandal moment. She has some hot takes.
She does have some hot takes, and she's not afraid to have her hot takes, which like good for her, but like the hot takes are a little too hot sometimes for other people to handle.
Yeah. I'm glad she got her in her bag again.
Yeah.
She's really good at this role.
She really is. And it was, I don't know, it was fun. I like, because the original That's So Raven dealt with serious topics, and so I'm glad they kept that element of it, because that was that's what people love. That's
exactly. That's why it held up so well. Like, you can go back and watch Raven right now, and it still be that good.
Yeah, and the messages are still really good to show like kids. Anyways, this one was a hit for me.
Oh, 100%.
For sure. Like,
I'm definitely gonna finish watching it.
Yeah.
Because I actually liked it. Like, I think a reason I didn't start it because I was so worried that like it was just not gonna hit the same.
Right.
But it gave me the same type of feeling. But also had original storyline.
Yeah.
Not original because nothing is really original, but you know what I mean.
Right,
like it made sense for
these characters.
Setup. Yeah.
Okay, so you say hit?
Yeah.
Okay, Linda, hit or miss?
Yeah, I definitely say hit as well. It was really good.
It's fun. It's fun. It's just a good time.
Did you watch all the seasons or just like
No, I just watched the first few episodes, but
yeah.
I'm pretty sure like it was like it for me it stood for 4 seasons, and you had a lot of different like fans into it, even not just like our generation, but like a new generation that was watching it. So it was definitely a hit.
Yeah, because I think I'm glad that like younger kids are like get to have their own Raven.
Yeah.
Like because that was like a huge part of our childhood, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So to have other kids also have Raven and then also have like the kids as well. So that's fun. Okay, the next one is completely different than what we have so far. This one's on Nickelodeon. iCarly. So Nickelodeon was...
Oh, sorry. I meant to put High School Musical first because it comes first.
Oh, just kidding. We're doing chronological order. Okay. High School Musical, the series, which is based off of the movie franchise that was...
It's a little different than the ones before.
Quite a bit different, I would say. So it started on Disney Channel, the original movies. The third one was in theaters. And then the new show is on Disney Plus. It was like the first Disney Plus original show, right?
It was one of the first, it was with the first rollout.
Yeah, like when Disney Plus was still trying to get like subscribers. Okay, so this was it's in the second season right now.
No, it just ended the second season.
Oh, just kidding. It just ended the second season, guys. And it's kind of up in the air. I don't really know what's going on.
I don't even think they know what's going on.
They really don't. And that's Miss Olivia Rodrigo.
It's not her fault.
No, it's not her fault. Like, good for... I would... No, I don't think it's her fault at all. But...
I think we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Okay, go home.
Okay, so the premise of...
The coffee's kicking in. I don't know if anyone can tell.
No, I can tell.
Okay.
The premise is at a fictionalized version of East High in Salt Lake City, Utah, where High School Musical movies are filmed. So it's not in the same universe. It's simply they're just students at the school that
it's
High
like,
School Musical...
quote unquote, our universe.
Yes, yeah, it's like real life. A former background cast member, Miss Jen, I always thought that was like such a funny nugget, begins work as the new drama teacher. The teacher decides to stage a performance of High School Musical, the musical, for her first winter theater production to celebrate the school's affiliation with the original film. The students cast in the musical learn to navigate their interpersonal relationships and form bonds with each other to overcome the challenges they face in their lives at school and at home. Aww.
Okay.
I love the first season.
Okay.
Second season?
Okay, so here's the thing. I remember when the trailer first came out for this, and like
No, I remember when they were casting.
Well, yeah, I remember when they were casting it too, but like when they announced the name, I was like, I love this name. This is this funniest thing ever. Like I was like, I love this like concept. I watched the trailer. I was like, oh my god, they're cussing. Like I was just not what I was expecting at all.
They weren't cussing.
No, she's like, shit's about to get real. Like that's when the trailer ends, but they bleep it out.
Oh.
I don't think it's not like super like. I just wasn't even expecting them to say that. and so the trailer comes out super excited. Oh, the butt is coming, trust me. And so I saw the first episode and I was like, okay. And it was like, they're like super short. They're like 20
Yeah, it's a really short
minutes.
But that's how long they would be. They aired on Disney Channel because of all the ads
So I watched the second one and I was like, okay. And then I watched the third one and I was like, the entire plot of this is just if the two kids are going to get together. And then I was like, I don't, like, this is for kids. Like, I truly... There was truly nothing else in the plot.
I would argue that the first season does rely more on the production getting on. Whereas the second season definitely, I don't think you got further than third episode, no?
No, I got up to the part where they were like already, oh my god, I don't even remember. I did watch like half the season because it was already like mostly out. And like the season finale was about to come out, and I was like, "Oh, I don't want to get spoiled." So I was like, I watched like half of it, and I was like, "Oh my god, I don't care."
Yeah, I think the first season did a better job of like intermingling the production part of it with the relationships, whereas I think the second season simply just focused on the relationships, and they made everybody couple up, which I'm not a huge fan of, but I still liked it because I love the like shipping things. I always love that part of like TV shows. But the ending of season 2 just felt so weird. Like I feel like you could tell because of the pandemic and because of like everybody's lives kind of changing like within the cast as well, and like especially because they're aging and stuff, like they're getting older and stuff like that. Like it just felt like the finale I was like, I don't feel like this was originally what was supposed to happen.
Can you spoil it? Spoiler alert for High School Musical, the musical, the series, season 2. To everyone.
Well, they didn't show like any of the musical. They showed like 2 scenes of the musical, whereas like the first season, like I think there's 2 dedicated episodes to the musical. Yeah, the last 2 episodes were them doing the musical. And then in this last one, we didn't even see Ashlyn in the yellow bell dress. Like, and I feel like that, I know that seems stupid, but like, I thought it was huge that Ashlyn got casted as the lead in the beginning. And her like storyline also like the whole time was like, I don't feel worthy enough to be Belle, and her coming into own of like the role and stuff. And because she's like not the beauty standard, quote unquote, she's still beautiful, but like that was like her whole thing. She felt insecure, and her coming into the role and feeling good enough to play Belle because she's so talented. I thought she deserved the yellow dress moment, and everybody else did too. And then I feel like all the character storylines didn't get wrapped up at all. Usually like there's like a good, like the main issue of like whatever, because everyone has their own issue, right? Mm-hmm. And it gets somewhat wrapped up, like at least satisfyingly enough.
Yeah.
But this one didn't. Like everything was just like, I was like, okay, it ended. What? What?
Okay, well, for people who haven't seen the show, the second season did Beauty and the Beast. So like the season one, the play they did was High School Musical, and then season 2, the play they did was Beauty and the Beast. Yeah. I remember when they announced it, I was like, oh, I thought they were going to do I just assumed they were going to do High School Musical too. And you said they mentioned it in the show, like
it's because they wanted they entered in this competition for high school so somebody could get a scholarship, and they wouldn't be able to qualify, like they wouldn't take High School Musical too seriously in the thing because it had Isla Menke, so Alan Menken, who is like writes musicals and stuff, so they needed to do like an Alan Menken production. So Beauty and the Beast. Oh. But see, everybody hates that. You hate that. I
don't hate it.
But a lot of people didn't like it. And I think I liked it because I heard that the original High School Musical movies were supposed to be that. Like they were supposed to be about like putting on different types of productions and stuff like that. Like Disney productions.
I think did they sing any songs from High School Musical 2?
Joshua Bassett did.
What did he sing?
Bet on it.
Oh.
But it was everyone liked it, but I was like, this is not good, guys. Like, with peace and love, I think Joshua Bassett is a very talented person, but like his rendition of Bet on It, I don't think it was his fault. I'm sure if he had creative control of it, he would have done it justice, but they like put autotune on it. There's like weird things that they did to the production of the song, and I was just like, everybody was hyping it up on TikTok. I was like, oh my god, this version's better than the original. I was like, you guys are deranged.
Wait,
like,
okay, last question.
What?
Is the show, like, is it musical so they only sing when...
It's like The Office about theater kids.
But I'm saying, like, okay, so you know High School Musical, when they sing, they don't acknowledge... It's like a musical, like, they don't acknowledge when they're singing. In this one, do they only sing when it's, like, part of the...
No.
Like, they just sing, like,
Glee. It's also kind of like Glee, yeah. Like, they're, like... in season 2 specifically, the 3 girls minus Olivia Rodrigo, they were doing an audition, and it did like the Glee moment where it's like, oh, they start off regular singing in the classroom on the auditorium, and then it goes into the glamorized version of it. Okay. So they have moments like that too.
Because I feel like
they do have burst out into song moments.
Yeah, I feel like they could have still done like, because I saw some people on TikTok talking about it, and they're like, they could have done Gotta Go My Own Way, like right here. They could have done like I Don't Dance, like right here.
But you also had to remember that they filmed this in the middle of the pandemic.
That's true.
So they also had to be super limited in what they could have done when they came back. I honestly wholeheartedly believe that they were going to use more songs of High School Musical 2, but because of the limitations, because I think they only filmed like maybe 2 or 3 episodes before like the pandemic hit. So, and I'm sure they had to reshoot things, so the rest of the season had to make sense. Yeah. So they were super limited, and I think that's why I give them grace on season 2, because I couldn't imagine like basically being like full gear filming the second season on the high from the first season, the pandemic hits, and then oh my god, we had to start over. We had to start from scratch. Yeah. So that's why I think people need to relax on season 2. Like, it's not their fault that like they probably had to rewrite a lot of things. And they didn't predict that Olivia Rodrigo would be like a superstar and like might not be able to come back for season 3. So I feel like they just got a lot of shit thrown at them that they weren't expecting.
Yeah.
And they were just kind of trying to deal with it and at least try to have like a decent season 2, which I think they did. They had a decent one. I think it's hard when the first season is so beloved to come back to the second season And usually the second season is better, but because of the limitations they had, because all the things I mentioned before, I think that's why it didn't hit as hard as people wanted it to.
I also think that, like, unfortunately, we live in such a social media world that, like, the drama that people were, like, assuming and making up behind the scenes.
Oh my god, every fucking episode. It was like, oh my god, you can see, like, Olivia looks like she's crying.
Yeah, they're like, those tears are real. I'm like, guys, she can act. Like, do you guys know what acting is? Like, I don't know why you guys are so shocked that she can cry. Like, that's what acting is. So I don't know. I don't know. It was just, it is what it is.
Yeah, I think the fans did kind of ruin season 2 a little bit. And I do think that does happen a lot with shows, especially shows that are built for people that are on social media. Like, there's even more criticism associated with it. Exactly. Yeah. And, like, it's like every single episode, nobody can do anything right.
Yeah.
And also, like, I love TikTok, but I also hate what it's done for shows.
Yeah.
Because everybody has their opinion, and, like, so fair. But I think that's why I'm kind of grateful for TikTok season, because I'm like, okay, I'm saving my reservations till, like, the season finale, because like, these shows can change, like, on a dime.
Yeah.
Like, one thing happens to one character and then the entire, like, mood shifts.
Yeah, I think you have to. You can't really judge the season until you have the whole thing, because it's like, it'd be like saying if you like the book or not without reading the last chapter. Like, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And for example, I was watching The White Lotus on HBO Max, and I think, like, halfway through, I was like, I don't know if I like this. And then the season finale aired, and I was like, I loved the show.
It's because everybody feels the need, especially on TikTok. Yeah. Because it's like, you only go viral on TikTok if you have, like, a hot take. And everyone will just say whatever the fuck they want to, and not think about the work that is going on behind it. And you're judging it on 2 episodes. You're having all these big ass thoughts about 2 episodes on season 1, season 2 of a show. When
there's a children's TV show
also on a children's TV show, or, like, a teen TV show. But I don't think it's, like, disrespectful.
Analysis.
We're not just saying hot takes to just fucking get 1 million views on TikTok. Yeah. Like, I think that's why I hate, like, people's takes sometimes. Like, and then, like, you know, you never know, like, one person's hot take, even if they don't even believe in what they're saying, because it goes viral, it starts, like, this whole narrative about something that nobody even knows about.
Yeah.
And it's just like, ugh. And especially when you're interweaving people's personal lives into it, you kind of fucked up the season yourselves, guys. Yeah. Like, I also understand, like, wanting to know the tea on, like, people's personal lives to a certain degree, but also, like, Miss Olivia Rodrigo is, like, freshly 18. She was a child. Yeah. And then also, like, there are a lot of, you're also taking away, because I think this is supposed to be Ashlyn's season as well. Julia Lester, she was, like, a kind of a side character in season 1, and now in season 2 she was the lead. So, like, that's supposed to be a big thing for her, but because of, like, and this is not on Olivia or Josh at all, it's about their fans and, like, how people take things. They made it all about them. Yeah. When I think it was supposed to be more in building the side characters, and I think that's where we're going to see season 3 go. I think there will be season 3 because it is a very popular show. It's just a matter of how they're going to write off Olivia Rodrigo at this point.
Yeah.
Which I think it's an easy way, because she, in the season 2, she gets, like, popular, and she's basically becoming, like, it's, like, basically her real life. She's about to take off. So I think the way they're going to start off season 3 is just be like, oh, she's the pop star now. Bye, Olivia.
Fun.
So
good for her. I don't know.
And I think that's good. I think the other people deserve their time to shine, because I genuinely think the rest of the cast is so talented and deserving. So I'm okay with it. I think just people are too much sometimes.
Right. Okay.
You know, but I also can identify, because I'm sure if I was, like, 14, 15 years old and obsessed with this show, I would feel the same. Yeah. You want everybody to be together and stuff. But
right. Because that did happen with the original High School Musical. Like, all the Zac Efron and Vanessa Hudgens drama, like, behind the scenes. But we didn't have social media.
Yeah, exactly. So it was different.
It was.
We only had J14 magazine.
Exactly. What we knew is what they wanted us to know. Like, it wasn't like, we couldn't analyze every little thing they were doing on social media. We couldn't analyze the posts they were doing about each other.
Being, like, a star at this age, especially a child TV show star at this age, and having social media seems like a nightmare.
Yeah.
I feel so sad for the people.
Don't be sad.
They're making money and they're really popular, but like I wouldn't like that aspect of it.
I would, yeah. Why wouldn't you? So. Anyways, as for hit or miss, I'm gonna say miss. Not because I think it's a bad show, and I honestly really do like these new cast members. Like I think these are great cast members. It was just as a fan of the original series, not what I wanted.
I also don't think it was like for you.
It wasn't for me, but like that's the thing. I wanted something for me.
Yeah.
Like good for the kids that have this. I'm glad that they have their own High School Musical. But like, as a grown-up High School Musical fan, I would have liked something for myself. Anyways, so for me, I'm gonna say miss.
I think we all know where I stand.
Yeah, Kim, it's definitely a hit for Kim.
I made like a whole 20, 30-minute
rampage. Definitely. Linda, hit or miss?
Well, I mean, don't hate me, but I was never a High School Musical fan, so I'm never interested in it.
Okay.
But I mean, the funny part is that in high school, when I was like an ASB president, for our pep rally, we literally had to do the High School Musical dance. So it's like, okay. But hearing the whole premise of the show and hearing Kimberly talk about it, explain it more, I think for a majority of the people that watch the show and might be other fans, it's a hit. For me, I'm just not interested in it. That doesn't mean it's not good, you know.
Yeah, it's not bad, and like I love Olivia Rodrigo. I'm a stan. Like my wallet shows that. I think.
I'm just so impressed with the show. That's why I like it so much. Okay. I just think it's so cool, like having like a kid version of like Glee and like The Office, like make something killer. I just think it was like something. I think for you were expecting it, and you like didn't like that it wasn't what you were expecting. But for me, it wasn't what I expected, and I like what they did with it.
Well, I'm okay with being surprised. It was just a kid show, and
they break the fourth wall in the show.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry to cut you off. Oh wow.
No, you're fine.
No, you're fine.
But yeah, it's like a mockumentary. Like they. Oh. And for me, I think that's what I didn't like about it, because I knew that's what it was from the trailers. But when I was watching it, I felt like the mockumentary style didn't really add to it. I felt like what they were saying, it was like already what the characters were showing. But again, it's a kid show, so it's like sometimes explain the feelings a little bit more to the kids. Like because I feel like for in mockumentary shows for like adults, like they use that to like do different punchlines or like show that what's going on in real life is not really what they're feeling. Whereas in High School Musical, the series, like Olivia's like sad, and then it cuts to her being like, "Wow, this sucks," and it's like I'm like, "Okay, guys." So that's why it's for kids.
Yeah. I think it like this. It's like a wider range. Like I feel like for some of them, it's like maybe like preteens and up, but for this one, I think they tried to make it accessible even to like, I don't know, like 6-year-olds or something. Yeah. So like they could follow along to the show as well. But also it's on Disney Plus, so.
I don't
know what kids do now. Like, do they watch cable or like do they just go on Netflix? Like, I don't know.
I think Netflix. I feel.
I have no idea. That's terrifying. I don't like it.
Anyways, that was High School Musical, the musical, the series. Okay, now back to iCarly that I briefly mentioned. It was originally on Nickelodeon, and then the reboot just started on Paramount Plus. This I think is my favorite of all the.
Yeah, this one's my favorite.
Same.
I've been saying
because it did what we wanted.
Exactly.
It's the only show to do what we wanted.
Go back to our first episodes when we talked. I don't remember when, but we talked about the Lizzie Mcguire reboot, and we were talking about like I wish that they had done the Lizzie Mcguire reboot because it was like a reboot for the original fans, and it was like the fans are grown up, so is the character, which is like perfect for me. And so then when they announced that iCarly was going to be like that, I was like, oh my God, I'm so excited because I would love to see these characters deal with adult things because obviously they grow up in this universe. And
I feel like especially iCarly specifically, the show, like we kind of like was the basis of Gen Z humor. Yeah. Like this, Victorious, like those were like the basis of humor, like weird, wacky, out of the box, like one word and a sound effect, and you're like on the floor laughing. Yeah, like unrelated, so absolutely random. But also, like I think, the jokes in iCarly, the original one, were already a little bit pushing it as opposed to Disney Channel. That's Nickelodeon. Yeah, so that's why I think there was such an appeal to us because it was like Disney Channel was a lot more kid, and then Nickelodeon was just slightly more mature. So then for this one, they're like making jokes about threesomes and they're cussing and they're doing all this stuff.
which is why I think it's so great. But the premise is, if you want to.
A decade after the events of the previous series, Carly Shay has moved back to Seattle, where she shares an apartment with her friend Harper. Carly's older brother Spencer has become a wealthy artist after accidentally creating a renowned sculpture. Following 2 divorces and a failed tech startup, Freddie Benson has moved back to live with his mother, accompanied by his adopted 11-year-old stepdaughter Millicent. All main characters live in Bushwell Plaza, the apartment building where the original show is set. When Carly decides to relaunch her iCarly web show, she receives help from Spencer, Freddie, and her new friends.
Fun. Yeah. Honestly, that's as great as a premise as I could have wanted from it, because I feel like it retains enough of the original show so that it doesn't feel completely different. But it's
okay. What's one thing? Everybody, what is one thing you liked about it and one thing you don't like about it?
Oh, fun. Okay, I like that. Well, okay, aside from what we already said, like all that, I like that it's set in the original, like they're still in the old apartment, you still see Freddie's mom, you see all of that. However, I don't like the redesign of Spencer's apartment. I think it's because I liked the maximalist, like cluttercore, just chaotic, colorful thing, and I think they like to modernize it was so ugly. But I get it because he's like rich now. He's like super rich now, so like obviously he's not gonna have all this like junk around his apartment. It makes me miss the old apartment a lot more. That's the only complaint I have about it. Because I remember seeing the design for the new apartment, and I was like, Anyways, so that was mine. Next.
Go ahead, Linda.
Okay. I think the favorite part of the show right now for me is Carly's new best friend now, which I'm blanking on her name.
Harper.
Yeah, Harper. I love her character and how well she fits into it with everyone. The only thing that I guess I didn't like, if there's something that I can say, is they don't really explain the whole her dad's situation. Maybe in the episodes that came out right now, but I haven't catched up. But they don't explain none of that with her dad, and because she moved originally to be with her dad, right? Mm-hmm. And then she comes back and they don't explain what happened there.
I feel like they kind of allude that she went to college and then ended up just moving back to Seattle. But I don't think they really explain how she moved to Seattle back.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they would I think maybe they'll get into it, because I feel like they keep doing a lot of backtracking to what happened in between, which I'm not mad about, because they talked a little in one of the recent episodes, they talked about it was Carly had her car and it was basically not working anymore. And everyone was well, why do you it's literally not working. Why do you have such an attachment to this car? And she talked about how her and Sam bought it together, and how it's kind of the last thing she has with Sam. Sam's not dead, but but she's gone and she's probably not coming back.
Yeah.
And it was I like that part. We are slowly getting filled in on what happened in between. So maybe later they will.
Yeah.
I do think that's interesting. And I think it would be interesting to have a flashback episode of Carly in college and stuff like that. I think that's something that they would probably do. Because it is such a I feel the season was so short. I think the last episode is coming out this week, or it came out last week. And I feel it was so short. I need more. But they're already filming season 2, so we're gonna get more.
Yeah.
I think for me, the thing I like best is the callbacks, and I do like that aspect of it, and I also like how they're kind of easing us into this new world. They didn't come off the back just so crazy and made you I think they made you realize that it was a more mature show, but they weren't so overt about it.
Right.
I think the only thing I don't like about it is they don't really do anything with the web show. They only mention the web show and show her doing the web show when it's relevant to the plot of the story. I think in this season they only showed the web show that one time in the first episode, and then one time in the episode when they were trying to sell something and it was pertinent to the plot. But they never mentioned the web show other than that.
That is really weird.
So that's the only thing I don't like. Maybe it was just a kind of oversight, perhaps.
I feel maybe they just feel trapped by the fact that iCarly, the name of it is that was the premise of the original show, right? They were doing this web show, but because the characters are maybe she didn't have to do it, and it would have still been entertaining to see these characters a grown-up in a modern world.
I think for me, it's just like the whole first episode was about her social media presence and how she was going to start a couples channel with her ex-boyfriend. So I thought that that was like the first episode. And they did nothing with it. Like, I think it would have been like an empowering like girl boss story if like she like they like kind of also like kept that in the beginning, like, oh, because Carly as a character is a very like kind of obsessive and competitive person. Yeah. So I think like it would stick to her character if she like would compete to like do better than her like ex and stuff like that. Yeah. But also like I have like mixed feelings about it. Like I wish they did that, but also like I like how this episodes are because it's like the original source material where like there's things that happen that might affect later episodes, but also like every episode is kind of like a standalone episode. Like it would come on like a rerun and you would still understand what's going on. So I have mixed feelings about it. Because it is really set to the people that watched it originally, I feel like they could do what I'm saying, which is like longer arcs, like things that like will carry out through like an entire season or half the season or at least a 3-arc story episode. Like I think we would be able to follow,
especially because it's on streaming.
Yeah, exactly. And because they're doing week to week.
Yeah.
Like, and especially I feel like that would, because the whole thing with week to week, right, especially in the age of like Netflix, is like people can binge watch and people love binge watching. That's just like what everybody does. But week to week, you risk losing like the hype or risk losing like watchers, you know? So I think if you're doing like longer story arcs that like actually carry through, you would have more of a follow through with, you know, but we've been in the age of streaming and like serving to streaming, like and binge watching for years now. I feel like some people, especially new writers, kind of forget how to do that. Yeah. How to do like a week to week show. So, because I'm sure like now when you're in school, like you think about a lot of the conversations you're having about like Netflix shows and streaming shows, because those are the ones that like are coming out while you're in the classes, and like you're like usually in your classes you're talking about what's popular right now. Yeah. And why it's successful, why it's not successful. So it's like a different ball game. So I think that's interesting.
That is interesting.
Yeah, well, right. I still love it. It's like my favorite show out of like all these, and like I really do like what they did with the first season, and it just makes me more excited to see what they do with the second season. Like, see, because I feel like the writers are so in touch with social media and they understand the impact that social media has, because there are like millennials on the writing staff. So I feel like these writers will actually take what fans are saying and like apply it to season 2,
because they're definitely seeing it.
So
100%.
Yeah, like one of the main writers is on TikTok, and she always talks about behind the scenes of the writing room and stuff, and I think that's awesome. I don't know why more shows don't do that. And that, like, I feel like that's such a underrated part. And also it sucks, but like when you have social media recognition, especially in this age, that gives you more respect in a way. Yeah. So it is kind of like a win for like writers and stuff, because writers are very much overlooked, I feel like, sometimes in the industry, even though they're literally the creators of the source material. So I don't know. I'm just so interested to see how season 2 goes. Yeah. I think it'll be better than season 1.
It's longer, right? I saw that it was like going to be more episodes. Yeah. Which is good.
They really knocked it out of the park. Thank you, Paramount.
I think this is pretty much a hit for all of us. And we welcome back to this once we get to the Lizzie Mcguire thing, because I have hope for the Lizzie Mcguire reboot.
I don't,
but the last one for the airing reboots is actually one that I didn't know existed at all.
No, I didn't either. I think I put it on the to come.
You did. And then I looked it up and I was like, it's literally out. But it's Rugrats, came out on Paramount Plus. First season already just like about to end, I think. And it's a CGI. And so like the original Rugrats were obviously like drawn characters, like that style of animation, like the original ones, I think everyone knows. But this reboot is like CGI animation. So they look like kind of claymation, but it's not claymation. But the style of the characters is like that. I watched the trailer. Honestly, a little bit scary.
I watched the first episode and it was scary.
I don't think I like seeing these children in this like animation. It like scares me a little bit. But the premise of this one is like they're all the same age. It's essentially the same show, but now they're in our world. It's like I was reading this review about it, and they were saying that they thought it was strange how like the kids didn't grow up, because I know there's already been like a Rugrats like grown up, like we've already seen
So
that.
good.
Yeah, that one's great.
Good.
But like this one, they're kids again, but they're in our like time. Like there's like smartphones and there's like technology and all this. And so like what the review was saying, that was like they think that this was like for adults who grew up with the show to show it to their kids. So,
but why wouldn't they just show the original?
Yeah, I don't know. It just scares me a little bit. Honestly, I'm just scared of it. Like that's all I have to say about it. I just don't think this was the best way to do a Rugrats reboot.
I don't think it needed a reboot. I think this is one of the ones that didn't need the reboot.
Because it's
the same. That's the reason why people still love to watch it today, is because it reminds them of when there weren't technology and when there wasn't social media, and I think that's why a lot of people have nostalgia towards it. So I think you're kind of ruining the nostalgia in a way.
I'm not a big fan of CGI animation. I honestly, not to like, I obviously any artist incredible, like you are so cool. Like I wish I could do what you do. I just think CGI animation kind of grosses me out.
Yeah. Well, when it's already existing characters and you're reworking them in a new world like this, you're going to have that feeling. But if it started off, like if Rugrats originally didn't exist and this came out, I feel like people wouldn't have an issue with it.
Oh yeah.
Because that's just how animation is nowadays.
It's just, I feel like seeing like the kids, like they're like the bald head in 3D, and it's like
no, it was really weird. I watched the first episode and I didn't like it. I literally didn't even finish the first episode because I was like, I don't think I like this. I'm sure kids nowadays will like it, but like for the people that grew up watching the show, and I feel like we were at that weird age where it was like not as popular.
Yeah,
it was like more for like our parents
on the way out.
Yeah. It was like more like our parents grew up watching it and stuff like that. So I don't know. I feel I have no strong feelings for or against it. You know,
like good for Paramount Plus, because I know they're doing this with a lot of their shows,
and good for like the original cast.
Oh yeah, that's one cool thing about it, that the original cast all came back to play their characters,
because they're all iconic.
I love that.
All iconic voice actors. So I'm glad that they have a job, and I'm glad that they're getting their check because they deserve it. They raised a lot of us, so I'm glad that they have that. I just think the CGI is like kind of off-putting to people that originally watched.
I think it is a little bit funny, like seeing that first episode where they're like in one of his imagination little games of the freaking going through the jungle with the dinosaur. I was like, wait, what's going on?
And then the scene was like textured. I don't know. It was just so weird, like watching it.
Just seeing the characters in that kind of world.
Yeah.
Like I think, I mean, if you were a little bit high or something watching that show, I'd be dying.
Honestly, yeah. I feel like it's one of those shows that you should watch high. If you're an adult.
That's the review. Like I don't even want to give it a hit or miss, because like I just don't even
feel neutral.
I don't have any feelings about it. But yeah, that's pretty much all the airing reboots we have now.
I'm sure there's more.
There's definitely more, a couple that we missed, but I feel like those were the main ones that we wanted to talk about. Now we're moving on to canceled reboots. So we have two main ones, completely drastically different with what is going on with them.
Well, kind of.
But okay, well, let's get into it. So the first one is Lizzie McGuire. So essentially what the Lizzie McGuire reboot was going to be, starring Hilary Duff.
Do you want me to do it?
Is there a premise for it?
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
The show will reportedly pick up with Lizzie on the brink of 30, living her millennial best life in New York City. She's got a place in Brooklyn and a job as an apprentice to an interior designer. She also had a boyfriend. I don't know what would have happened to that boyfriend if the show happened. And then, just like the rest of us, she's just trying to figure it all out. In an interview with New York Magazine's Vulture, Duff revealed a few more twists, and it sounds as if the show won't be set in Brooklyn. She said she's not going to stay in Brooklyn too long, actually. That's where she's been, but she'll come back to Los Angeles. She's forced out of New York, and she's like, I can't be here anymore, which I'm assuming would be the breakup with the boyfriend.
But also that makes it seem even so much more exciting. Like, that's so sad, because...
Let's theorize what we think happened.
What we think happened? Yeah. I truly just think Disney was like... Because iCarly wasn't even... was it announced yet? I don't even...
Yeah.
Well, I just think Disney didn't want to take the risk of doing a reboot for a TV show that was originally a children's show and having it, like, marketed towards adults, especially because, like, Disney Plus is not going to have like big raunchy shows. Like they literally moved like Love Victor onto Hulu because they own both. So I think they just were so frazzled about this concept that they didn't want to put like a Disney show on Hulu and like just be, I think they were just so like, they were like, it's too risky. And that Hilary Duff, like, I think she wanted to do things and they weren't letting her do what she wanted to do with the character, that she's like, I'm not going to do it if you don't let me do what I want. I genuinely think that's what happened. Kim? You're like, your brain is processing right now.
Do you want to go, Linda, first?
And I think it's the same thing because I also find another article on like some other website called Republic World, and the main thing that I got from it was that like it was creative differences. And I think personally, like, she's boss ass because I mean, she basically was the main character of the show along with obviously her friends and stuff. But I think if she was gonna do the reboot, obviously she should have some say over what's gonna happen. And just the premise of it would have been so interesting instead of making it like kind of like going back to her having kids and then her daughter being like that kind of like I guess Raven's Home. That wouldn't have been so interesting as this that was presented because it's like she matured just as iCarly did.
Yeah.
And so,
I think it was the perfect way to do it.
So I think it's so weird because Disney, when it first started, was like groundbreaking, right? They were the ones that like took risks. They did like the first animation and like it was like they were very groundbreaking at first. And especially now that Disney owns so many properties and so many different networks that they could have thrown Lizzie at, I think, and especially Disney Plus, especially because they own like Fox and stuff like that, they don't have just like cookie cutter Disney stuff on there. They have Deadpool. They have like rated R things. Like it's not like it doesn't exist to Disney, R-rated things or like somewhat mature things. Because I think iCarly showed us that you could have like mature things, but it still be wholesome in a way. Yeah. Because that's just how life is. Some things are raunchy and some things are just wholesome and good. Like that's just how it is. And especially with how Lizzie, because I love Lizzie McGuire. Lizzie McGuire is probably like a pillar of my personality. Like I literally love that bitch. And I think that in like Lizzie as a show was so important to me because of like the little animation that she had, like to kind of go more into her inner thoughts. Because like that was kind of like my imaginary character when I was growing up. I had like my own little Lizzie, and that's how I processed my adolescence a lot of times. So I was really excited for the show, and it really hurt when it stopped. Yeah. So yeah, like what you said, like the creative differences, I feel like they tried to make it too cookie cutter. And I think it's just like so weird that Disney does not take risks at all. And I think like Disney is a money-making machine. Disney, Marvel, like they can put out anything and it'll probably make its return and then some. So I don't know why Disney didn't take the risk with this. Like it could have been such a good turn of events to have them, because I feel like Disney appeals to everybody, right? But I feel like they do try to appease children and then like older, like honestly conservative audiences too much. And they're leaving like this big millennial and Gen Z, which are the biggest like buying power, honestly, now, because I feel like a lot of us are so willing to spend our money on things that bring us nostalgia and bring us joy. Because I mean, like I was talking to my friend about this. I was like, we grew up in the recession where like a lot of times like our parents couldn't buy us the things that we wanted. We couldn't like fully kind of enjoy, and that's not our parents' fault. We couldn't fully enjoy like these things because we simply didn't have money for it, you know? So I think now that we're all have like our own money, most of us have our own money and are able to like buy into like things that we want. Disney had such a good range to do it, especially when you have Lizzie, you have Hannah, you have Raven, like you have all these things that had so many different ways to like, you know, make money off of like rather than just a show. And I just don't understand why they didn't take the risk. And I feel like they probably feel stupid as fuck now. Yeah. Like seeing the success of iCarly, like, I don't know. It's just like disappointing. And I'm really sad about it. And I was listening to a podcast with what's his name? He plays the little brother on Lizzie. I'm so sorry, Tim. I think his name is Jake in real life. But I was listening to a podcast with him in it, and he was saying like I mean, obviously he can't say much because legal stuff, but like he was like, yeah, it sucks. Obviously it's a bummer. And he was like, yeah, we already filmed like 2 episodes and yeah, just the creative differences and stuff. So like, it just sucks that like it had to come to that to end it. Like they already had like a whole cast and crew. And then you just, because of the, like, how bad could the creative differences have been?
Yeah.
To the fact that you guys lost all that money that you put into the show and stuff like that. I don't think that the risk was that big that they needed to cancel the show. I think somebody just got too big of an ego and didn't want to budge. And that sucks because I feel like it would have been such a cultural impactful show. So maybe give it a few more years. Like, I don't have like too much hope for it. I don't know, because like Lizzie Hilary Duff is like moving on to like different projects and stuff. So like, I don't want to like inhibit her other project and her growth as an actress. And also she has kids and stuff. So like, I don't know if, and I also don't know if Disney's willing to give it up because of like, I feel like it was an ego thing.
Maybe.
So,
I do. The thing about Hilary Duff is like,
even if it's a movie, guys,
something. I do think Hilary Duff loves this character and like
she knows how much impact
she knows. I think that's genuinely why she was like, if we're not going to do this right, we can't do it because it's going to hurt the fans just as much as it's going to hurt me. Like,
I love you, Hilary.
So I think, if it wasn't the right time, then it wasn't the right time. But I do think we're gonna get it. I truly do believe in my heart.
But like, I'm just worried of how long it's gonna take because
I don't know.
People be aging and shit. Like, especially like I love the setup of this, and
it's like the perfect time.
It's the perfect time to do it. I mean, Hilary Duff has aged beautifully.
Yeah.
And so has Ethan as well. The hot guy in the show. They've both aged beautifully. And I mean, honestly, everybody has. Yeah, honestly, everybody has aged beautifully. But like, I think Hillary's like 35 or something. Like, if you wait 5 to 6 more years, she's in her 40s. Like, and then you kind of like lose out on the magic of like, also like painting the 30s for people our age.
Yeah, it's like Sex in the City, but Lizzie Mcguire.
Yeah, exactly. It makes me so sad.
I don't know.
It makes me so sad.
I have a little bit of hope for it. Soon. I think that's why I think the iCarly thing is so important because
very
like
glass half full of you.
I think, but I really do think, oh my god, the birds are going wild outside. I do think that like the iCarly reboot is gonna change things for so many reboots going forward. Like,
100%.
Especially for Paramount Plus because they own so many of these that like they're like, oh, we saw that this did well. We're gonna do this with other things.
Take a risk and do something. Because honestly, they're losing out on a lot of money that they could be making. Yeah,
they are.
Like, because at the end of the day, that's what they're worried about, right? So I get that you need to, like, it has like this cookie cutter ideal of it. And like we said with like iCarly, like that's why I think iCarly did like more of a seamless transition because it already had like the built-in jokes, you know, like you said before, whereas Lizzie was very cookie cutter. And I feel like we'll talk about this as Zoe 101 too, but like, people were just on different fucking pages.
Yeah. That's essentially what it was.
So,
that's so sad.
I don't know.
Oh my god.
It's sad. Not talking about Zoe 101, which was also a very good show, and I very much enjoyed it. And so this one has so many layers to it.
I literally was looking into it yesterday, and I still don't understand it.
I got it.
I was like, what's going on?
So you put literally what's even going on, JoJo, Siwa and Noah Beck. They're not going to, they weren't going to be in the show. What that was about was they did like a remix of the original song. Mm-hmm. And
who sings it?
Jamie Lynn Spears.
Okay.
And they were just in the music video. So that's what that was about. That's it. That's
all that deal for nothing?
Yeah. Oh. But it was just like trying to, it was, so this came out, this music video, because I didn't even know the music video came out. I remember the teaser for it. But
wait, what were the tickets for? I remember them selling tickets for something.
Hold on. I'm getting there. Yes. Okay. So it was just like trying to be a cash grab for Jamie Lynn. None of the other cast members, to my knowledge, have gotten like a cent out of it. So it was just Jamie Lynn trying to get money out of it. And then I don't think Jamie Lynn understands the audience, like how old the people that watch Zoe 101 are now, which is why she got Chantel Jeffries out of all people to remix the song, JoJo Siwa, Noah Beck, Dixie, all those TikTok people whose audiences are way younger than what the people watching Zoe 1 are, which is our age, like 20, early 20-year-olds. So I don't think she just wanted money because she's allegedly getting money off of Britney.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like because this conservatorship case has been in the books for so long, the one that has already passed, she's not dumb, like completely. She knew that like this has an expiration date, the money that she's getting for Britney. So she was just trying to cover her ass before the decision was made on the conservatorship.
Yeah.
So I think that's what this was the music video and like selling tickets. And even her fans turned on her from this. Like her fan accounts like literally called her the fuck out because of this. So like it was like you had to pay to get the song. So they paid to hear the song early, and there was like different packs, and then there was one that was like a meet and greet, quote unquote, but then the meet and greet ended up just being like a private Zoom call or like a Instagram live, and they weren't even like able to really answer questions. So it was just a scam. It was a scam. And so even her fans were like, what the fuck? And then the song came out not even 48 hours after that thing.
That they paid for.
Yeah, that they paid for. So her fans were like, what the fuck? I didn't even know Jamie Lynn Spears had fans.
I didn't either.
But they were pissed, like, and they called her out on their like fan pages and stuff like that. So
As they should.
And she didn't even really apologize for it at all. She took zero responsibility, and she still continues to take zero responsibility for it. And the thing is, like, she just, because everybody is so nostalgia ridden right now, and anytime something like that comes about, of course media outlets are gonna like talk to the people about it. So Jamie just like reached out to before the song, like reached out to hype up the song. She's just evil, to be honest.
She is
like
evil. Every time I hear something about her, I'm like, what is she doing?
You know how like you saw pictures of all of them together
The
to like build up hype? It was because all that had like a reunion episode.
Okay.
And they had like a skit on all that episode. So that's why they were all together. And I don't think many people knew that. Because all that episode came out, I think, in the beginning of the pandemic. And I also don't think they marketed it very well. Like, I didn't even know it happened.
I didn't either.
And well, also like all that is kind of like older than us. It's more like millennials, like dead ass millennials that all that like was popular for. So that's why they all had that. I remember watching the skit and I was like, what the F is going on?
Wait, was it the one where they watched the
No.
Or what was that?
The skit was all that skit was like all the cast was talking to this old lady who was Jamie Lynn Spears, and then Jamie Lynn came on and like was talking to the old lady version of herself, but they were supposed to be two different people. It was like such a dumb skit and it was stupid, but it was supposed to build up hype for the potential show. But the thing is, why would they do all that when literally nothing was ever confirmed about a show? It was just Jamie Lynn trying to hype up the show or this song to make money off of it. And like Paul Butcher, who is the little brother and also TikToker, I guess now, he like when Free Britney started coming up more and like it was like bigger, you know, like when the court case was actually happening, he made a TikTok about it, and then people were like, so it's not happening? He was like, no, it's not happening. And then like within like the same week, TMZ talked to Chris Massey, who's one of the guys on the show, and he was like, no, it's still happening. Like, I just talked to Jamie the other day and it was fine. And then like maybe like a couple of days later, he's like, yeah, I also have to talk to Jamie about it. Like, he was just totally oblivious to what the fuck was going on.
Yeah.
So, and then like a couple days after that, or a couple weeks after that, he made a TikTok with his brother, and they basically said like, it's not happening. But Jamie still wants to make it happen. And I'm like, girl, nobody's on your side.
Yeah.
Fucked it up. So I just don't think she's a good person. And she brought in so many other people, got so many people's hopes up, and also is allegedly scamming her sister.
Oh God. I think at this point it would just be such a bad move to do a Zoe 101 reboot.
Yeah. I feel like the rest of the cast deserves it. They deserve something. Because also like Zoe was kind of an annoying main character.
Yeah, she was.
To a certain degree.
Yeah, she was.
I feel like like I loved Lola and I loved Quinn.
Yeah.
I loved those girlies. So I would be more than happy for them to have a little reunion and then give a little like even though I thought what they did in Fuller House was so cringy, like how they called out Mary Kate and Ashley, like
it was a bit much.
That was a bit. Maybe don't stare into the camera, but like, and maybe if they even did that without Jamie, I feel like the fans would support them because I feel like everybody knows how shitty Jamie made it for everybody else, and I think everybody would support.
They could, and it's not like it wouldn't be the first time it's been done. Like, you know how with Roseanne, like they
even
did
iCarly, like, they don't have Sam.
No, but I mean, like how it was like the main, like
the main
like
character.
in the title, like Zoe.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about
like
that.
Roseanne, they did the reboot called it was like the something. It was like their last name or whatever. But it was it was every other character except Roseanne, and it's doing great.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you get a problematic lead. You just write them off.
Yeah.
that would be interesting to see them do something like that.
And especially because it's on Nickelodeon, so same as Paramount. I feel, and they saw the success with iCarly. I feel like they should do something with the supporting cast.
That would be really interesting, actually. Fun. Yeah. I hope that happens for the rest of them.
I hope it happens for them.
Especially if there's Jamie Lynn Spears like dangling a
hair in front of them. Yeah. And the thing is, like, none of them were in the conversation with the studios. Only Jamie was. So she could have lied. She definitely could have lied about how far along in the process it was, and if she even got like further than one meeting with like the network and stuff. I know, how cruel is that? Like, they were literally they were all just vying on Jamie for all this information, and I also
Anyways, free Britney.
Yeah.
Because
fuck that family. Besides Britney.
Upcoming reboots. Okay, so we only have 2 here, I think. Also very completely different, but also kind of similar. So the first one that we were going to want to talk about, I literally did not know this was happening until I saw it on the Google Doc, but it's a Fairly Odd Parents reboot with Paramount Plus. Again, Paramount Plus is killing it.
Yeah.
They're really doing what needs to be done.
We love Paramount.
So essentially what this one is a continuation of the original series, but it's like a live action animation hybrid. Which
I think is fun.
That's so fun. But
Space Jam.
Yes, like Space Jam. Thank you. What I wrote is I think that Cosmo and Wanda are going to keep the same style of animation as the original show, but I think everything else is going to be live action. But I think the magic is going to be like animated. Like
God, didn't they have a movie with?
Yes.
And it was like that.
Oh my God, yeah. Oh my God, I literally forgot that happened.
Yeah, so it's probably going to be like that. Because they were
but they were like 3D. They were like CGI, no?
Yeah, but I don't think. I mean, I really hope they don't do CGI.
No, I think they're gonna, because the Tom and Jerry.
I would much rather than be flat.
No, yeah. The Tom and Jerry reboot, or like movie or whatever, it was like live action, but Tom and Jerry were still flat.
They're
and
flat?
They would like mess with like the fact that they were flat.
Oh, thank God! Please make Cosmo and Wanda flat. I don't want to see CGI Cosmo and Wanda ever again. No. Like, they were so cute in their little flat versions.
Like, imagine 2D. CGI like Phineas and Ferb. Like, some characters need to stay like flat for them to look good.
Yeah, and then like the physical comedy would be funny because they are flat, so they can't move like sideways.
I never Phineas and Ferb because that was
the live action, like the stage show where they're like the 3D.
Yeah, oh my God, no.
No, those characters don't work.
Have you seen the renderings of like what they would be like? If they were, you know what I'm talking about. They're terrifying. Someone like rendered like if the Phineas and Ferb characters were like real, like in our reality, like what they would look like, and it's like
with like scary. Actual skin.
Yes.
Yeah, so gross.
So weird.
Anyways, the synopsis of the Fairly Odd Parents reboot is: in the Fairly Odd Parents, Ty Turner uproots his. Oh, it said Ty Turner on the thing.
But later it says, so it's not Timmy. Once to her cousin Timmy.
Who's Ty then?
I guess a relative.
I didn't even catch that. Okay, wait, let's unpack this. Ty Turner uproots his life to reunite with his high school sweetheart, Rachel Ragland, in the town of Dimsdale, thrusting his cautious 13-year-old daughter Bibb into a new world where she does not fit in. Once there, her cousin Timmy entrusts his fairy godparents, Wanda and Cosmo, to help her adjust by taking her under their wings. Witnessing the fairy transfer take place, Bib's new stepbrother, Roy, also inherits them, and the two siblings must come together to overcome the obstacles in their path, all with the help from their new wand-wielding and wish-granting fairy godparents.
So Ty is Timmy's uncle.
Oh, so then maybe Timmy's not a huge part of it.
No.
Ooh.
Well, I guess that makes sense, like, if he's passing on and it's a continuation. Because I think in the show, like, where the way it ends is, like, he's getting too old for his parents.
I do like that it's a pair of, like, it's a brother and a sister.
Mm-hmm.
That's fun. I think that'll add some fun things. Also, now that I'm reading this, I feel like maybe everything in Dimsdale might be animated. Because the way it's, like, thrusting into a new world.
So it's like Blue's Clues.
Maybe. I don't know. I feel like we just have to wait and see because I feel like this could go anywhere.
Because there's no like mock-ups either.
No, there's nothing out yet. But also fun fact, the original.
Is there cast?
Well, yeah, the cast is out, but I didn't recognize any of them. But the original cast members for Wanda and Cosmo are both coming back.
Oh,
so
cute.
That's iconic. We love that. And I think that's really all you need for it. I feel like this is the best way to do a Fairly Odd Parents reboot. I feel like with the Drake Bell movie, like we don't really need to see Timmy as an adult with Fairly Odd Parents. I feel
especially when he's gonna act like a child.
Yeah, it wouldn't really work, especially because the whole point of the show was that he's a child, he's irresponsible with the magic. So like as an adult, like hopefully he's not being irresponsible with the magic. So I do like that they're passing it down to like a new generation of kids. I think that's fine, and the way that it's the same characters.
And these are all unknown people in the cast.
Yeah, they're like kid stars.
Yeah.
Because I was looking at what else they were in, and they're like children's TV shows. So it's definitely going to be for kids.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Oh my god, that's the picture of the.
Yeah.
This kind of reminds me of like Phineas and Ferb's like not reboot but like continuation, like of Milo Murphy's Laws or something like that.
Wait, that's related to Phineas and Ferb? I literally had no idea. Wait, can you go into that a little bit?
Wait, what is it?
It's called, what is it called?
Milo's Murphy's Law or something like that?
Milo Murphy's
I never even
Law.
heard of that.
I saw it like in passing, but I didn't know. And I knew that the animation looks like Phineas and Ferb, but I didn't know it was related at all.
Yeah, because even like, Doofenshmirtz is in it.
Oh.
Sabrina Carpenter. Weird Al voices a character? What the
Provides
heck?
the voice of Milo.
Oh, so the main character.
And in addition to performing the show's theme song. Oh yeah, Doofenshmirtz is in it. Are any of the other Phineas and Ferb characters in it? Or does it just take place in this world?
I think it like takes place in the same like universe.
Oh, Isabella? Mark Hamill.
He voiced stuff in the original one.
He did?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Mark Hamill does a lot of voice acting.
Oh my god, wait.
Yeah.
That's the guy who does Phineas, but he's not playing Phineas.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, that's so interesting. I literally had no idea. Mort? That sounds familiar. Isn't that the robot?
Mort. Yeah, I think so. No, yeah. Sorry, I was thinking about Madagascar.
Oh, that's so interesting. I literally had no idea because I do remember the Phineas and Ferb like movie, like the reboot that they just did on Disney Plus. It was like Candace something.
Is that show on Disney?
Yeah, it's a Disney Channel show.
What?
Literally had 2 seasons, 2016. Oh wait, it was a while ago.
Yeah,
so, like,
it ended fast.
I don't think they marketed this very well. I had no idea this existed, like in the slightest.
It's pretty interesting.
Oh, had fun. I don't know. Anyways, that's pretty much it for Fairly Odd Parents. I think this one I'm excited to see, like where they go with it. Like I think this is a fun concept. Yeah. I probably won't be from like us, like our generation. It's probably a kid's show, but I'm really interested in seeing the fact that it's like live action animation hybrid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm interested to see what it looks like.
Yeah, that's mainly the only thing I care about. The next one, oh my god, we're ending on a high note, guys. I don't know. We're ending on something. The Powerpuff Girls Cartoon Network to CW. So I'm pretty sure everyone knows about this. It's pretty much everywhere, but it's a live action reboot. Oh god, no, yeah, it's so embarrassing for them. But oh my god, wait till we tell you. Okay, so basically,
look up pictures of it on your computer right now.
Because
look up what they look like.
Look up like Powerpuff Girls CW like set pictures. Yeah. Because they got leaked and
it's embarrassing.
Dragged. Oh my god. Okay, so basically, it's a live action reboot starring Dove Cameron as Bubbles, Yana Peralt as Buttercup, and originally Chloe Bennett as Blossom. She did leave the show, so she's not going to be in it anymore. It's a due to scheduling conflicts. I don't think it's anything but it could be. I don't know.
Yeah. But it's a conflict is such an easy way out.
Yeah. Because I don't know. But essentially, what it is, it's like they're Riverdale-ing the Powerpuff Girls.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's the best way I can put it. And okay, so the script got leaked.
Is the same guy that's doing Riverdale doing Powerpuff Girls?
It's someone that did I think Sabrina.
Oh, okay.
Wait, look it up real quick because
No, that's the same guy that does Riverdale.
No, I might be completely wrong about both those things.
Puff Girls.
But the script got leaked. I don't know if it was a official script. People were saying that it was. I don't know. I never got any confirmation.
I feel like it is.
I read
I feel it in my soul.
I read the script, and let me just tell you, if that had just some of the things they wrote, I was like, there's no way. And it does read like I don't know, like an episode of Riverdale, like the way the dialogue is.
Yeah.
But the plot twist at the end was that like, you know that monkey guy, Jojo, like Mojo Jojo, he's like an actual monkey, but like the guy, so the villain of the show is like his son or something, and it ends with him being like, oh, we're gonna get our revenge, and he's like an actual monkey, like a CGI monkey. It was so weird reading that episode. I was like, what is going on? Because I was reading it as though it was fake. I genuinely thought it was fake. But then they announced that they were doing like reshoots, and I was like, oh my god, it might have been real.
Wait, this is so weird.
And the tone of it was literally like Riverdale. It was like a Ryan Murphy.
Yeah, it was like woke, like way too hard trying to be woke.
Like woke not in the right way.
Yeah.
They literally shot the pilot, but then CW chairman Mark Pedowitz called it a miss. Like he literally was like, yeah, no, that wasn't it. So they're redeveloping and reshooting it. I think they're rewriting it. And I don't know, like even Dove Cameron, like she got interviewed and she was talking about it and she said, we are going back, we are reshooting, we are taking a slightly different approach tonally. It's one of those things where you don't want to get it wrong, and it's very easy to get it wrong. It's this in the same way that everyone from an outsider's perspective is like, how are you going to do that? We're figuring that out. We want to get it right for us and for the fans. We really loved what we got, but we also think we could get it a little bit closer to what we have in mind.
There's no way Diablo Cody is one of the writers and executive producers of this. Diablo Cody is the person.
Oh, Greg Berlanti. That's what I was thinking of. He does the superhero shows. The CW. So
okay, but Diablo Cody.
Yeah, I don't know.
I what?
Let's just pretend this.
She's the one that did Jennifer's Body. Yeah. For everybody listening.
Let's just pretend that it was a fake script. I really hope in my heart it was a fake script.
I feel like this is fake because I saw there's a part. What I'm about to read to you guys is probably fake because it's like Bubble says, Blossom is fine. I saw her Insta that she has a boyfriend. I saw on her LinkedIn that she got promoted. I saw on her Facebook that she still talks to Grandpa despite their political differences. And then Buttercup says coming back here is probably triggering for her. So then Bubble says,
the entire script is like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's so weird.
They use like the word trigger and like they use that kind of like.
There's ways to use it, but like in the ways that they did it was just like.
It's like that's not how people talk.
Yeah.
Like I saw this. Yeah, I don't know. I saw this clip from is it Outer Banks? I think I don't know. Yeah. It was on TikTok, and someone says the word yeet, but they use it in the completely wrong context. I was like, also, does anyone actually say yeet out loud, like in normal day-to-day dialogue?
No.
Like I was like, what?
Not even I, as somebody who's in my username.
It's like a part of your brand.
I've never uttered the word like unless it was like remember when it's like popular.
But even then
it felt off. Like I didn't use it all the time, but it was just like when you throw something, you say yeet at the time. Don't say that anymore.
But the dialogue in Outer Banks was like, did you just yeet across to something? I was like, huh?
Maybe people in the South do. I feel like that's something Southern people would say. To be honest.
Yeah. Are they in the South?
Yeah, North Carolina is the South.
Oh, I didn't even know they were in North Carolina. I thought they were on a beach.
Outer Banks is North Carolina. And it is like the beach.
I thought it was about aliens.
Girl, North Carolina's on the coast.
No, but I literally thought it was about aliens.
And Outer Banks?
What is it about?
I don't know. Oh. I think it's more like the Goonies type of vibe.
Yeah.
Pirates and stuff like that.
My family loves it.
That's so many people love it. I just could not get into it.
Me either. The fact that it's yellow. I don't know. Anyway.
That's what it is. It's like the aesthetic of the show. I'm like, I feel like I'm sweaty watching it.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure is like the point, but like it's not for me.
Also like, whatever. This
I
is
love
not
a
what
New
this
York,
is about. New York
color palette.
That's the vibe I want.
Yeah.
Anyway, so about the Powerpuff Girls reboot. When they first announced it, I was excited. I liked the casting.
We were all excited.
And then as soon as they started revealing more and more, I was like, oh, God, I don't know. I don't know about this. They're reworking it, so I guess we're just going to see.
Can I talk about the criticisms that I had?
Oh, yeah.
Because I remember seeing this TikTok, and I was like, oh, I didn't even think about it like
Wait,
that.
is that about the... Okay, I think I know.
Like racial stereotypes.
Yeah.
So they cast Bubbles as like the white girl who's like ditzy and like cute and like pretty much like pretty mild as like a character. And then Buttercup Yana is a Black woman, and then Chloe is an Asian. She's half Asian woman.
Yeah.
And so Blossom is like the leader, so she's smarter. And then like people didn't like that the Black girl was like the aggressive, like mean type, because it was like that was like stereotype. Like they kind of just typecasted. Like they tried to make it diverse, but they also still typecasted to how these stereotypes are. These racial stereotypes are. Like I forget how the person.
It's a great. We'll post it on our Instagram because I have the TikTok saved. I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, I have it saved too, but I couldn't find it. But yeah.
It's the way that they describe it's probably way more detailed than we're equipped to handle.
Refer to our
Instagram. But
I thought that was interesting that I didn't pick up on, and I was like, yeah, that bothers me now that I know about it.
Yeah, so. I don't know. I did like the fact that like because the sisters were like, are they made in a lab? I wasn't like a huge part of it, right? So like it makes sense that they're not all like white. I'm glad they didn't keep them all white at least. Because like there's no reason for them to be all white.
But I feel like that's what happens when like older people are taking on things that are supposed to be for younger people. Like they think that they can gather what people our age want, but then they still have like their inherent biases and like nobody that's younger on the team to check it. Or younger people on the team that are too afraid to check it because they don't want to lose their job. Is
the script still online? Because I heard that they were like doing cease and desist.
Yeah, because she just
I was looking for that, and there's like bits and pieces of it, and I actually added one.
Yeah, there was like. Wait, you found another?
Yeah, because she literally says, "I'm here to pick up vicarious townies." Like, what?
Yeah, no, the entire episode is written like that.
Well, like, have you guys watched any recent episode of Riverdale? That's
no, it's literally like that. They talk like Veronica, like the way that these characters talk is like they talk like Veronica and Riverdale.
And Cheryl.
Wait, I wish I could find the last like
the things that they make Cheryl, like Miss Madeline say on that show. I'm so sorry to her. Like I want their contracts to end for all of them because I think they're all very talented people. The people that are in Riverdale, they just are.
Oh my god. Okay, I found another one. Okay, this is the start of Act 2. They just got back from a commercial break. Interior: Powerpuff Girls home, kitchen floor, night. Blossom's out cold. Bubbles and Buttercup hover over her. And then Buttercup says, Bloss, wake up or we'll leak your nudes everywhere. Off Bubbles' confusion, that worked on you once. Bubble nods, remembering, then thinks, closes her eyes.
I don't know. But I like if it's from if it's a CW show, I wouldn't put it past them for that to actually be the script, you know? I really do hope, because if that is, like, let's just say that is the script.
Okay.
Let's just say that was, and they leaked it on purpose, because sometimes Hollywood does leak things on purpose to get like, you know, a gauge of what's going on. Mm-hmm. Like that's why they make Tom Holland leak things for them. It's not a coincidence anymore. I really do hope that they are not doing a Riverdale, like basically copy and pasting Riverdale, because it is successful. Like that's why Riverdale is still on. Like they don't just make episodes for no fucking reason. And I think they thought they were gonna have like the same audience of Riverdale just transfer over to Powerpuff Girls, but I think they realized they have a bigger reach. They could have a bigger reach.
The thing is, the fans of Powerpuff Girls and like Archie comics are so different, because with Archie comics, this generation basically knows nothing about Archie comics, so they could do whatever they wanted with these characters and no one would care. But we remember the Powerpuff Girls. So if they wanted a Riverdale, the Powerpuff Girls, they'd have to wait like 10, 15 more years. But if they do it right now, we're gonna be pissed, obviously. And I think with that first, like the only set picture that leaked of them in like the like Party City costume dresses, the way I was, because like what a lot of CW shows do is they'll have one scene where the characters will wear like comic accurate outfits, right? So like there's the Halloween episodes of Riverdale where they wear what like the cartoon versions of them wore. So I was like, oh, it's probably that. But then people online were like, no, that's what they were gonna wear, like actually. And I was like, oh,
it looked so cheap too.
It looked like
they literally just called parties to
They
be
looked
and
good
said,
though.
"Give it
Like
to
I just
us."
didn't like the outfits, but like the three of them together, I was like, I would like them as the Powerpuff Girls.
Yeah. Like the way they look like without the clothes. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
not that way, but
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I mean.
Yeah.
It's like them when they announced who got cast
And
and
it
like
was,
the
like,
little
next to each
headshot
other.
pictures. Yes, that love. We
Love
live.
that.
But costuming, I think like CW shows need to get a grip on
And the
their
thing is,
fashion
I
department.
already know how it's gonna be. Like it's gonna be like
Yeah.
modernized outfits of these characters, but not in a good way. And then there's gonna be
gonna
like
be
their colors.
2016.
Yeah. And there's gonna be a piece of the colors in every like I already know how this is gonna go.
Which I don't hate that they stick with the color palette. It's just like I'm just imagining the outfits, and it just makes me really sad. Really sad because there's because you know that movie have you guys ever heard of the movie Not Okay?
Of course I've heard of them.
With Zoe Deutsch, and like it's kind of like they're doing an amazing job marketing it. Like I'm so excited for that movie.
Oh yeah.
I also love everybody on that cast. Like they did a good job of actually showing what influencers today wear.
Yeah.
Or like people our age wear today. Like why can't CW shows just do that?
Please.
I'm literally on my knees.
It would be so cool.
Maybe they're just buying into like the fact that it's that bad. I think Riverdale definitely leaned into the fact that it's like that bad.
Yeah, it definitely got more and more. They were just like, if you want outrageous, we're gonna give you outrageous. So
yeah.
And I think the fact that it is in the universe of Sabrina let them really they were like, we're just gonna push as much as we can. Like there's oh god, I don't know. I
couldn't even tell you what's going on in Riverdale today.
Oh, I can't either. I finished Sabrina though, but good for them. I don't know. Anyways, so that's pretty much all we have. Okay, so I have these fun little questions that I wrote.
Some exit questions.
So in conclusion, I wrote, do we stand? What I meant by that is like, do we support these reboots? I just mean like in general, seeing childhood shows come back. I personally love it. I think it's interesting. I do think like, yes, there's some ones that do horribly, but I think they're necessary in like the wide range, like scope of things, like to get the good ones like iCarly and like High School Musical, the series that are actually successful. We'd have to get like for every Powerpuff Girls, there's going to be a iCarly. You know.
What do you think, Linda?
I think honestly, I kind of stand most of them. Yeah. My favorite obviously has got to be iCarly.
Yeah.
The Powerpuff one, I hope they really do fix the script because that's gonna be a really cringy episode, and if they stick with that one, and it's gonna be shut down probably by everyone the first episode. So hopefully they fix it and they do it right. But in general, I think I do stand like childhood shows being rebooted, as long as they do it right.
Yeah, as long as they remember who the fans are. And I think like it really depends on the premise of the show. Like iCarly can be extended because of it. But like, for example, Fairly Odd Parents, we can't really, Timmy grown up. It's about time. Like it's time for him to get a life. And but it's cool that they kept the Fairly Odd Parents, give them to new kids. Like that's what the concept of the show should be. Give them to new kids every now and then. So yes, I do stand. But I think I wrote favorite angle and least favorite angle, but I'm pretty sure our favorite angle for all of us is the iCarly one. Yeah. They did it so brilliantly.
Maybe that's another thing. Maybe that's why they went. I hope that Powerpuff Girls sees the success of iCarly and like kind of, I mean, you can't really exactly mirror it because they're fictional characters and it's not like, I mean, all of them are fictional characters, but like, you know, like iCarly's more like real life and you can like mirror it towards real life. But honestly, like I even think it gives Powerpuff Girls even more leeway because they have superpowers and stuff. So they can make it even a little bit more mystical. But if they're going to go for this, there's superpowers and also like they're young adults and they're going to live young adult lives. Like, that kind of aspect of iCarly, you know what I mean?
I get what you're saying. Yeah, like the characters but grown up.
Yeah.
Without sacrificing the fact that these are characters that we already know and love. And then I also wrote, show you're hoping gets this treatment. So any show from like our childhood that you hope gets a reboot. And it can be an iCarly style. It can be like, I don't know, any kind. Even like with a new cast.
Victorious, obviously.
I was gonna say the exact same thing. I want a Victorious reboot,
or just like a movie or something, like a high school reunion, something.
Oh my god, yeah, like that would be like a perfect setup, like a high school reunion.
Oh yeah.
In the school, they wouldn't have to wouldn't be a huge time commitment for Miss Ariana Grande.
If she can do the voice, she can do a one-off High School Reunion
she
episode. Because the voice is so much time.
It really is. And I just feel like, I don't know. I think the cast seems to really like each other.
Yeah, they all are still pretty close. So
I
don't
hope
see why not.
so much for this one. I do also think, I don't know if it would happen. I don't know. But I would like to see another Wizards of Waverly Place. Like one
They're
more.
all on good terms, I think.
Yeah, they're all on good terms. I feel like
Yeah.
none of them have been problematic. Like, wow.
No.
Okay, well, it's not like Good Luck Charlie, where like the mom of Good Luck Charlie is out here like at anti-vax meetings, like talking who knows what. So like we're never getting a Good Luck Charlie reboot.
I would have loved both of those shows to get rebooted. Like it would be perfect, especially Victorious. But one of the ones that it's not maybe from our generation, but like a little bit before us, is Ned's Declassified.
But they ruined it.
Is that the girl Mosby is like, she just shot herself in the foot.
They're just ignorant.
Yeah.
Also, the guy that played Ned, and also all of them shot themselves in the foot.
But you know what would be cool if they did this with a new cast, like the style of the show, like the.
Oh my god! If they did that style of show, if they did like a reboot, but like a whole new cast type of thing,
like pull a High School Musical to musical.
Yeah, just the concept of the show, especially in a day and age with social media and stuff. As much as I feel like we're all tired of it, I feel like that show could be like a
Who owns? Was that Nickelodeon?
Nickelodeon.
Yeah, it's Nickelodeon.
Paramount. They have to have something in the books. There's no way they don't.
I'm sure because of the success of iCarly, we're going to see more.
Yeah. That's exciting. Oh, that's a good one. I literally forgot that show existed.
I forgot that they were going to like do something together. Like they were like going to talk to like Paramount, I guess.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah,
like they were documenting it, and then Mose, the girl that plays Mose, just ignorant. I just don't understand why people, when you offend a group of people, why you can't just apologize.
Yeah.
And like even if you didn't mean it that way, just be like, I was ignorant and I'm so sorry that I hurt the group that it offended.
Yeah.
And then I feel like that's all people want. And then also like actually do take the time to educate yourself. And
also like the way the whole thing that started it, like you made that TikTok for what? For a couple likes? Like I just.
And especially people were saying like, oh, because literally is his name Devin? Yeah. Devin, the guy who plays Ned, did like that trend. And she was like, yeah, go Devin. And then she made fun of the people that are actually people. Like, oh, why is it okay that your white friend did it, but it's not okay when anybody else does it? That this
it doesn't make sense.
Very much ignorant mentality.
Yeah.
Very much racism.
Anyways, thank you, Linda, for coming on today. Where can people find you and any future work that you'll be working on?
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see about that. I mean, I'm hoping I can get into something soon.
Right. I feel like because of the pandemic, we're all in.
Oh yeah, don't be too hard on yourself.
We're all confused.
Still in a pandemic.
No one knows what's going on.
I've tried applying. Trust me, I've tried to get.
Oh yeah. Do you want to plug your social media? Well, I mean, obviously, all this information will also be on at Our Hollywood on Instagram, as we usually do every week. But if you want to plug your social media live.
Okay. Well, my Instagram is at the Linda Celine, THE, and then my name. So yeah, you can give me a follow if you want, or if you have any questions or anything, just let me know.
Okay. And then everyone, thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next week. This was the first round of our screenwriter extravaganza.
The next 2 episodes or something.
Yeah. All right. Bye, everyone. See you next week.